When people have too much power with the internet.
Let's hope that's all it is.
Yes. I hope it's just.
Some of these guys pay it off. That's the problem.
It's true. I know, but we see it.
And is Karen,
Not good.
with us, do you know?
Right here, straight ahead.
Yeah, Karen Burke.
She's not, I don't think.
Okay,
I don't think. I sent it to her.
yeah, I'm gonna ask her to look at that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You can't do your. Way.
Can I ask if everybody can hear me? This is Steve Case. I'm
You're a little loud, Steve, but apart from that,
We could hear you. Where are you, Steve?
I am sitting on a deck looking over the Nile River in Cairo.
oh, nice.
Just hang on.
Are you on a cruise?
No, we just
On the
had
mountain.
dinner in the bazaar area of Cairo. I can't turn on my video for some reason.
That's all right.
Don't worry.
I'll be
And I
listening.
could- Yeah, and I'd just like to ask Russ Kimes, could you please confirm that you can see that we are recording on your device?
Yes.
Yes, I see recording in the upper hand corner.
Okay, I'm triple checking. That's all. Very good.
We've got a minute here. I think Bill's joining, but. And Chris Labrie, had he already departed for his?
I don't know.
Where was he going?
He's going to Europe, different places in Europe, I think.
Well, he should not be on a plane at this time, at least. He should either be there.
Well, he might be getting on an early evening plane tonight, but
I do the day flight to London.
Did you?
Great. Yeah, it's fabulous.
So what time did you leave?
I haven't done that before.
8,
Rose,
9?
do-
I greatly
No,
prefer that.
Did you do the day flight?
11.
Get there in time to dinner.
And then it
And you have
arrives.
to- Yeah, and then
Can't
you- I,
sleep on the plane,
Yeah.
so.
see, I
Gosh,
can play through,
there's
I can
only
go
dinner.
through a whole next day.
That's right.
I just, if I went early, could never fall asleep, like when I got
Yeah, I
there.
don't, I have trouble staying up, but I don't trouble falling.
The one? The overnight flights.
I'm the opposite.
I know, I've done them so
Yeah.
long. Is there?
I have not. I know.
Is that?
Kathleen has a lot. Have you flown it?
Yes.
Pretty cool, right?
American.
So
Oh.
BA had it too?
My brother flew when it was.
And
when I got-
JetBlue.
When you leave the gate, you
To
go high
London?
speed, because they don't delay you on the runway. You go right to the edge of the runway.
All right,
Take
shall
off.
we get
Really?
started?
2 hours?
Like 3:10, something like that. You actually land an hour before you took off.
Okay, everybody.
The boom, when it does it?
When it breaks the sound barrier, it's behind you.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. There's Laura Dice. Hi, Laura, and her beautiful gardens.
Hi.
We love seeing your gardens. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, April 20th. We welcome you to the Town of New Canaan Charter Revision Commission special meeting. It is 4 p.m. and we're going to start with a roll call.
Thank you. Mr. Case,
Present.
Miss Corbett,
Here.
Miss Holm,
Here.
Miss Jameson, present, Mr. Kimes.
Present.
Thank you. Mr. Lampert,
Yep.
Mr. Labrie. No. Miss Neville,
Here?
Mr. Pallo,
Here,
Mr. Perret. No, Miss Willett.
Here.
Very good. So we have 9 members present.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Okay, let's get started. We're going to power through this. We do know that our Commissioner Todd is going to be in and out, so we respect that, and that's fine. So, but we're going to try to get through as much as we can. This is the first of 4 meetings we have to finish this report, and so we are prepared to get through as much as we can possibly can. Okay, so minutes from both the April 13th special meeting and the 14th, as well as the public hearing. And those minutes have been posted.
They are. They were both April 14th. We had 2 meetings. We had the special
I'm sorry.
meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all right. The 13th, we had to push off to the 14th.
Yeah.
Correct.
I'll move the minutes.
Do I have a second? Second from Joe. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Any group minutes that haven't been done yet?
No, but we'll need to do ours tomorrow, maybe.
Beg your
I
pardon?
think we have one set that we should do tomorrow.
We do.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a housekeeping note. If everyone can take a moment and go to the minutes folder under the Charter Revision Commission website, there's a number of listings there that show draft minutes from the group and even from the full commission perhaps. Make sure that the final minutes are actually posted there and then ask that Sal remove the draft minutes. So just take a good look through all of that, remove the draft minutes, make sure we have the final minutes listed. Okay? And we can just verify that
Yeah, we
tomorrow.
probably have put the draft minutes up.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
lot of
it's all
draft-
right.
there's a lot of
We'll
draft
get it
minutes
right.
up. They just,
No.
they weren't removed, but the finals are up there. Okay. Anybody online? There's nobody here present, but is there anyone online that would like to make a public comment? Who is online? We have a couple people.
Yeah, we got Laura Dice and Peter Barhart.
Okay. Laura, do you have any comments for us today?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to move on. So we're moving forward now, working from the draft report. That's been also published in the website. So we're working with version 10. And I'm going to go quickly through each page just to highlight what has been changed. Oh, hi, Karen. Welcome. What has been changed since the last meeting?
I'm going to go and get that phone.
Okay. Are we off?
No, we should be fine, but I need to get back on.
Okay. Russ, are you still on?
Yeah, you're good. Tucker came in and then her microphone was on. That's what blew up the sound.
I see.
You're good.
Okay.
She's
I'm
on.
still showing recording. I'm still seeing you all. Tucker, your video is still on. However, that's taken up some of the screen.
Okay. Let's.
Where's Russ?
He's,
Online somewhere?
he's online. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Online, yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
just flipping pages, just to let you know what I've made some changes. So on the page one, which just the sections I've added, you'll note the list of participants in terms of interviews, meetings, emails, and the survey. You'll see that in just a minute. I made one change on page 3, and that is when referencing the fact that there was a sewer commission. Actually, this is the top of page 4. There was a sewer commission. That's in referencing the Connecticut General Statute. So the first of the 1935 version of what ultimately became the town charter. We had some language in there that about the current day with respect to the Utilities Commission. I just moved that to the current day, and you'll find that on the top of page 5. So same language as we had, but I just moved it to the current day paragraph. So it's at the top of page 5. Moving ahead, in terms of the structure and the voting process, I added, the group, I got a change or an additional date from Commissioner Palo, where he added the March 2nd date of his group 1. And I took that up from 11 to 12 meetings.
Thank you.
Okay, next section, just an intro paragraph. I haven't changed anything on page 7, page 8, just an intro paragraph about the interview process, the public input. I didn't mention anything about the public hearings, but I will do so in this section. And this is missing is maybe a paragraph about the summary of the public survey. And if somebody wants to take a stab at that, okay. Just
By the way, just for
summary.
the record, Bill Paredes joined the meeting. 4:07.
Okay. He joined you on the phone?
Okay.
Finger on the phone.
Oh, okay.
Screen.
We see your finger there, Bill. Okay, so that
I'll be darned.
page 8.
You're on page 8.
Page 8, so we're just going to be adding a paragraph about the public survey input there. On section 5, beginning on page 9, I added the votes that were put forward on April the 14th. And so those are listed there. There was one section. Okay, so on page 10, on the second vote from the bottom, 414, this was one of the things that we had changed the language on at every chance we did going through. And there was one word there that I removed, and I'm going to repeat it to you here. It goes on to say the Board of Selectmen shall review and select from the applicants, interview applicants, should be one S there, not a two, sorry. And vote it said regular noticed meeting on the appointment. I took out the word regular, as these meetings can be
Yeah.
special meetings. So I just said a noticed meeting.
That's fine.
Okay,
yeah.
so I just took out the word regular there. And then if you, Karen, I'm saying this to you, Karen Burke, because just on our votes that we've processed already, that if we could just follow the language that's listed here, or who's ever submitted that. Angela, did you submit that? Angela, or-
Well, one of us did.
Okay.
So we could, I'll
We'll just
double check.
clarify
Yeah.
against these, okay? Okay, and then, of course, we've left on page 11 some spaces for other votes that we'll be adding. On page 12,
Chris,
this
you
is,
go back to page 10 for 1 second?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
no problem,
On the third one down,
yes.
is it okay that we only have a portion of what was approved there?
To impose term limits of concurrent for all
12
appointed
years,
boards.
because then we have the section that if somebody's currently serving when the term ends, that
So
they
if
get to
you,
stay-
yeah, so we did not have that part of the vote yet about the hiatus period. That's
Okay.
what you're asking. So
Okay.
if you'd be kind enough to look at page 12. And this is again, just a summary draft for discussion. And here, number 1, establishing term limits. This would be a ballot item. I changed that to say 12 consecutive years of service for appointed, page 12, sorry, it's the first one, number 1, it's under section 6, charter revision recommendations and potential referendum. Do you have our version?
Probably
Might have been.
not, because I'm on single page. You're on double side. Thanks. Apologies.
Problem.
I'm like.
Yeah, definitely. I saw that you had done that on the next page, but I wasn't sure. I thought the motion itself was part of that it should probably be in the motion section as well as in, but it doesn't have to be.
Correct me on that, Joe, did we vote on the hiatus period after a 12-year?
No.
No.
Was I wrong? Okay.
We discussed a term.
But not, we didn't vote.
Okay, so
I don't know, I can't remember.
No, we
if
didn't
voted.
vote.
Did we?
No.
Okay.
We did not vote on what happens after 12.
we just voted for the 12 years.
Yeah.
However, I don't believe the word consecutive or concurrent was part of it.
No,
I
it's
think- I thought it was-
consecutive. It wasn't
The word was concurrent, we changed it to consecutive.
consecutive.
It's on page 12,
Right.
number 1,
So
12
if a
consecutive.
person's, so it's not 4 terms? I thought we, in the minutes of last week's meeting that were just written up, we had redefined it as 4 terms.
You can't do 4 terms
On
because,
all.
Okay.
because
Not
people
the same
have
correct.
different
Yeah.
Okay.
term sequencing.
Okay.
Some 3, some are 4, some people are
So
5.
if somebody serves 6 years, takes a year off and then comes back, does the clock start again? for
Yep.
12?
Yeah.
I thought it was a term. I thought what we discussed was a term.
Term.
So if it's
That-
a
that-
So
2
listen,
year
so,
term,
so you go to
It's
planning and
consecutive
zoning, you
years.
do 2 years,
That's right.
2 terms, that's 6 years.
Yeah.
You get sick, let's say, you drop out, right? The clock resets, then if you come back, if you get reappointed, it will start again at 0.
yeah.
But if you do 4 terms, which is 3 years each, consecutively, right?
That's 12.
That's 12, that's it.
Karen, you make a very good point there because
Jennifer.
Jennifer made a very good point there because, so my issue was the part we haven't voted on yet. Well, I don't like the 12, but anyway, I think it's too short, but nonetheless, it was the hiatus after someone finishes their 12-year term. And it was that they do not come back, they can't come back for a full term. So in the case of Board of Finance, would be 4 years.
Yeah,
for,
that's my understanding.
and that would
too.
be a big hiatus. However, what, as you just described, Jennifer, is that if I'm in my 11th year serving on a board and I said, stepping off, I got to be a stay-at-home mom for a little bit, and then I get reappointed
You
1
couldn't-
year later.
You
I'm
couldn't
starting
be
my-
reappointed again.
You couldn't?
You have to go wait the full 3 years to then come back.
No, but if I left in the 11th year,
If you resign?
yeah.
We
Probably.
haven't discussed that.
We
I
haven't
think
discussed it,
there are
but we
various
should.
options here, and
Yeah.
I don't feel that we've really discussed that. We certainly haven't voted on it. At one point, people were talking about just having to take a year off after your term, you've reached your term limit. Then other people have talked about it being a full term. And then, there is the question of what happens, as Kathleen says, if somebody resigns in the middle of a term before they've got to their 12th consecutive year. So
Anyway, we've said we're going to power through this right now, but that's still an open item.
We-
Okay.
We'll talk about it first.
Kathleen, we should go to the videotape because I recollect that we wound up with a 2-year hiatus. And I realize different people like a certain number of years, but if someone steps off because they go to the hospital and they're sick for 2 years or 3 years, okay. But whether it's 12 years or 16 years or 9 years, the spirit of what we're talking about here is at some point in time, people have to step off. And however we move forward, I think we at least need to get the spirit of what we're talking about captured in here. I mean, the idea that someone could step off in their 11th year for a year and then come back on for another 12 years.
Hypothetical. It's
Yeah,
a hypothetical.
but that doesn't make sense. And maybe that's something in our writing to the town council, since they'll be voting people on, we would deal with that.
Yeah, I think
Hypothetical.
because technically, once you resign, then until they find the replacement, right? Once they find the replacement, then you're technically off, right? As per the
You have
charter.
the 180 days and so forth. But so what we voted on, Bill, was we did say 12 consecutive years. So that's already been voted on.
That's
Okay. And the details of what we're sort of hypothetical discussions would be if someone served 3 terms, so they got to 9 years, and then they took time off. 3 years, 5 years, whatever it was, they could, whatever they're coming back would be starting again. That's my understanding. Unless we put some language in that says, no, that doesn't quite happen that way. But
They'd be starting again. The clock would reset and they'd start again once they were back to being reappointed to that same board.
Yep. Okay. Look, we're going to come back to that in shortly. We also had I didn't make any other changes there. We did not vote yet, and this is the other thing we're going to vote on. Number 3, we still need a vote on whether or not Board of Finance members must be both electors as well as taxpayers. So we need a vote there. And I think we have everybody. So we're going to come before anybody has to step off. Let's get to that. And I just finish up by saying no other changes with the exception of I've moved all the changes that we had made on page 16. This is the summary. Take a look at those summaries. These are on articles that we approved. Just move those forward in the summary pages. We still want to discuss issues about Article 5 on the Board of Finance. I took some language in from Karen, had sent us some changes about moving some things around. So you'll just note that any of those changes, if you go to the last 2 pages, pages 41 through 43, 44, these are all the names that of people who have participated at either at the group meetings or the full commission, or they've sent us emails. I'm sure I've missed some. Thank you for those who did send in names. Kindly take a look. If I have missed any, but just let me know. And then the names that I got for the public information survey, I just copied those from Jennifer's, and those are in there as well. Okay, so that's the report. So while I have everybody present, let's go to some of the perhaps thornier issues. Let me go through and We're turning to page 12.
Well, we are missing one person.
Who? Oh, I'm sorry, Chris LeBrie.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true.
Well,
That's true. So Chris had made a suggestion. I don't know if we can do this or not. I've reached out to our town attorney. I've not heard back yet. But Chris had suggested that on any of these major issues, particularly where we might have a divergence of opinion, that we participate, we make a motion, we obviously discuss, we make a motion, second, and then we open up any discussion, and then we open up the vote by email. Now, he wasn't specific about email for those who were not present at the meeting, or if we all participate within 24 hours. The problem with that, I think, under state statute and municipal, and we don't have counsel here with us. I think there's a problem with that in that if it subjects one to go out and do a little bit more research or didn't have the opportunity to hear others discuss it, it creates a problem with voting, and everybody should be voting at the same time.
could we vote, and if it's 5-5, just do a revote the next time?
No.
No.
No, you
it's
can't do
done.
that.
Well, you
It's
can make
a
another
loss.
motion.
You'd have to make another motion.
You have to.
Yeah, you can make another motion. Yeah.
Well, I'm just
Yeah.
trying to find, because
Yeah,
odds are votes probably won't be, but it might be.
it might be.
It might be.
So let's see how it goes. And if we do find ourselves in that situation, we can table it and bring it up. I don't know when we're all going to be together again. That's the
Are we
problem.
are we that divergent here?
Yeah. people are
Everybody's
traveling.
going, yeah.
Everyone's traveling. So let's address perhaps an easy one, perhaps. That's on the Board of Finance members shall be, and I don't remember what.
Which page are you on?
On page 12, number 3.
Yeah, all right.
To be honest, I don't remember what, maybe you guys do, what Chris LeBrie's position was on whether or not
I
they should
do.
be taxpayers.
It was that they should be.
They should be. Okay. So, okay.
I recall that we looked up whatever percent it was on this issue that was validated by the voters last time.
Yeah.
And it was so high.
2/3. Yeah.
Yeah, it was easily 2/3.
Yep.
And we decided we should not.
That's correct.
We
review
we
it.
did
We
not
did
make
not
a
vote. We
decision.
didn't ma-
And
Oh,
I
we did-
we
I
did
thought we
not.
weren't going to look at
No,
this
we
again.
didn't. We discussed it. People made their point of
Okay,
view.
well, I
But
thought.
But we
that
didn't,
was
we were
sort
waiting
of
for
done.
Bill.
Yeah.
We were waiting
All
for
right.
Bill to come.
Okay,
So we just, so that we just,
all right.
so just quickly, let me sum it up. But everybody is free to offer their thoughts on this. So this is on to amend the town charter on behalf of the Board of Finance members to be consistent with the Board of Selectmen, the Town Council, and all appointed and elected boards, commissions, and committees, such that the Board of Finance members shall be electors, but no longer required to be the owners of real estate property in New Canaan. That's the exact wording that was used 10 years ago. No change. So again, the proposal is, should we bring it back to the electorate? My personal comments at the last meeting were, I think that the electorate had weighed in, and I didn't think it was necessary to bring it
Agreed.
back.
Yeah.
And so while I do believe that the Board of Finance should be consistent with the others, I think we heard from the electorate, and I don't want to second guess that or challenge that again. So that is my opinion. We'll go to my right here.
Yes, so
Angela?
I disagree with that. I believe that we should strike out this requirement. I believe that it's discriminatory. I do not believe that it would be held up. It would be upheld in a court of law. I think it discriminates unfairly against renters. We're going to have we have two classes of residents here. We have property owners and renters. Property taxes are factored into the very high rents that we have here in the town. And it was last looked at by the electorate 10 years ago. A lot's happened in 10 years. There's been a lot of turnover within the town, but also points of view change. And I also think it's the right thing to do. And therefore, I think that it should be our recommendation to strike this requirement.
It's your recommendation, but thank you. Okay.
Well, I
Joe?
agree with your position, Kathleen. I think the voters have spoken, and the fact that it won't hold up, it's already held up for at least 10 years that we know of.
No, it's 90.
90.
It's been there
So
since
I think
1935.
you've stated the position correctly and I support it.
Right. Karen?
I agree with Angela. I think this is an outdated requirement. And I think it's worth 10 years later, putting it back to the electorate.
Okay, thank you.
Sort of a hybrid here. I agree with Angela, but not as strongly. And I'd be happy if there was some sort of modification which said beneficial ownership in land, because I just think what we do at my office, I see too many people that the wife or the husband owns the property, the other spouse doesn't. I don't think that should preclude them. And especially with trusts and stuff like that, where people don't own it, but they have a beneficial ownership. So I would like to see if somebody's going to make the motion to at least have that as an in-between ground while I still, yeah.
So that they're no longer required to be.
An owner, a beneficial owner may be the right language. Look,
You're still saying no longer beneficial owners.
look,
Right.
my first choice, I sort of agree with Angela's position,
Yeah.
but I don't think that's going to pass.
Yeah.
So my gut is I would still be happy enough modifying that so a beneficial owner gets to still be on the Board of Finance. A beneficial owner being somebody that
They're still owners, right?
Yeah, beneficial owner,
Right.
you know.
Okay. All right, thank you. Jennifer?
I think you should be a property owner.
Okay,
You put skin in this game. These people make your taxes.
right.
You're taking the risk. You're
In
not- you're
high
not-
markets and low markets.
In high markets and
Yeah,
low markets,
yeah,
we've
that's
seen
the
it,
difference,
and,
yeah.
it's a different risk than being a renter. And I think that, the Board of Finance plays a critical part in terms of a lot of the monetary determinations in this town. So I believe you should be a real property owner or something related to the terms of a trust and estate that you actually own the actual asset. Yeah.
Okay,
Jennifer, how do you feel if a wife owns the property or husband owns the property, the other party, the other spouse still being able to run? Or do you think
Well, I
it's,
thought they did. I
Yeah,
thought they
I think
were.
it's always intended to be beneficial owners.
oh, has it? Because it
Yeah.
doesn't
It
read that
doesn't
way.
say that,
It
but
doesn't say that, but
that's the
it's what I
intention.
think.
And I think we'll
Yeah.
add that if we go
Okay,
forward
okay.
with it, yeah.
Yeah,
I
for
just
sure.
want to make sure that's what.
Let me do
benefit-
Judy
yeah,
first,
yeah.
and then I gotta do, Alan, go ahead. Judy.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that beneficial owner covers that point.
Yeah.
Is that a legal term applicable only to this, or is that just a generally understood legal term that maybe we need to ask?
I don't know the
Otherwise, I
answer to
wouldn't
that.
put it
Yeah.
in, one or the other, yeah.
Well, beneficial owners are also basically owners of shell companies too,
They are,
Yeah.
like an
Yeah.
LLC.
That's
like
right.
an LLC.
For instance, the
Yeah.
LLC owns my building. I've
You're-
owned that
you're
house
the beneficial
forever,
owner.
yeah.
Right.
All right, let me go to Steve Case, please, online.
I'd like to make this consistent with the town council, the board of selectmen, and simplify the charter in this way. So I would be in favor of the motion.
Favor of what? I
Favor the motion that
Oh.
is, it states that it's no longer required to be beneficial owners. Okay, thank you, Steve.
That's correct.
Russ Kimes?
I've been of the mindset in large that unless there's been a really compelling reason to change things, and we haven't had any real direct feedback pushing for this. We've heard other areas where there's been engagement. If anything, I would agree with Commissioner Lampert in the getting some form of mechanism where trusts and things like that are encapsulated. That would probably be where I lie on this.
And again, that is if it stays as a provision that's beneficial owners. So we
Right.
can't have vote this way or vote that way. It has to be a
Yeah.
statement that, do you want this on or off?
I
Yeah.
could surely make a motion that says
Well,
that.
let me finish with,
Yeah,
sorry,
I'm not-
I have to finish with Bill.
Bill.
Yep. Bill, are you on with us?
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm not in favor of changing anything, but I do understand the beneficial ownership point. But I do think it's a very complicated point, as I mentioned last time. And so, I think we need more work in order to define that. Because in a trust, if your house is in a trust and you donate, you are the grantor of the property into the trust, you are not the beneficial owner, nor do you want to be by law. Otherwise, the IRS breaks your trust. So,
Right.
Right.
so now if you have an LLC, and you're a 1% owner in the LLC because you gave it all to the kids, I could understand that. But it does bother me, you know, if you're not a taxpayer in the state for income tax and you're no longer a, you know, majority beneficial owner, that you're not paying any taxes in the state, but you're voting on me paying taxes. That troubles me a lot. So I think I could get to the point if it would clarified and defined better, and I'm happy to table it till the next meeting. But I would be not in favor of changing it until we had clarity around the words.
Right, okay, so Joe,
The Board of Finance does a lot of bonding.
Yeah.
And
That's
the
right.
town, the residents are stuck paying that for 10, 20 years.
Set the mill rate.
Yeah. and
That's
set the
right.
mill rate, And the
Yep.
tenant can simply just move out after voting for a 20-year obligation.
Angela, and then we're
So-
gonna come to a vote. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'd like to suggest that we move to a vote on the text as it currently stands here, see where that comes out, and then potentially discuss other options. So I would like to move that we amend the town charter on behalf of the Board of Finance members to be consistent with the Board of Selectmen, Town Council, and all appointed and elected boards, commissions and committees, such that the Board of Finance members shall be electors, but no longer required to be owners of real estate property in New Canaan. So I make that motion.
And I'll second it, Steve Case.
Okay, seconds. Okay, and you're gonna call.
Yeah, sorry.
okay.
Let me just do this in order. Mr. Case,
Yes.
Ms. Corbett,
No,
Ms. Holm,
No,
Ms. Jameson, yes. Mr. Kimes,
No.
Mr. Lampert,
No.
Ms. Neville,
No,
Mr. Pallo,
No,
Mr. Perrette,
No.
Ms. Willett.
Yes.
Okay, so we have just 3 yeses, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 noes. So the motion is not carried.
and I just, we don't have to mark this down, but it's our understanding that Commissioner Labrie would probably have voted no as well.
Yeah.
Is
to
that
mark him as
correct?
absent.
Yeah,
And-
that was
sorry,
my
We mark him
understanding.
as absent.
We mark as an absent.
Yeah, and I just want to make one more statement, and I think Russ, Commissioner Kimes, for me, said it best, where he said, he hasn't heard any compelling reason to change something. So, and that's where I come out on it.
Yeah.
No matter what I think personally, I haven't heard anything compelling that it needs to be changed. So
We actually did have someone that had to resign from Board of Finance when this came to light that this was a requirement because he was a renter.
Yeah,
I
it
understand that.
Yep.
So,
Okay, if this, we're not gonna put this forward, now we get to beneficial owners, because it's only now that now we want to
Yeah,
change
I
the
understand that.
language to be
That's why I
beneficial
did that.
owners. Yeah, exactly. So in the section of Board of Finance, when we get to it, where it does say that you're required to be owners of real estate properties, we'll amend that to say beneficial owners. Is that a fair statement?
I just want to confirm
it's fair
beneficial.
for me.
Yeah.
I know Bill had some very good points on that, but I
Yeah.
just think it needs to be vetted out a tiny bit
Sure.
to get the right language.
But
Yeah, I
have
think we need the
something.
right language because you can be beneficial owner of an LLC, which doesn't actually own property.
And I'm trying to
Which
think,
to you means you should or shouldn't, or you just have to
To me,
clarify.
the whole goal of this is that you own real property in the town,
Uh,
or indirectly or indirectly, which is, I understand your point to be.
Yeah,
So I think we need to, maybe there's a better term we need to find.
I think so. I think you're right.
But
Because I think it could be very
Because,
convoluted.
the only thing is like, I have the advantage a lot of times of seeing what my clients do in this town, and there's just a large portion of fairly
Yeah.
sophisticated people for one reason or another that pay taxes through their LLCs that don't want it in their name or through trusts. And I don't personally
There's
feel
a
like
lot.
precluding them, but if that's the only way, then.
I would suggest that I don't see the need to change the language, really. I mean, it's starting to get very complicated. I think we could end up precluding people we didn't mean to and including people with the benefit of hindsight, which we wished we hadn't. And, is there anything wrong with the language as it stands?
No, I mean,
Yeah, my
it
own-
just would call into question just somebody who doesn't have their name on their
Yeah.
tax rolls still a beneficial owner through an LLC or their
My own-
spouse or what have you.
If I ask a question on
Yeah.
what beneficial actually means is
Well, that's what
somebody
I'm
might be a
getting to. Yeah.
beneficiary in a will that, has not activated yet, so.
That's right.
That's inchoate. That's so you have COIT and inchoate type ownerships. Inchoate means it hasn't been established because
Right.
somebody could remove you.
Right.
But if you're actually the owner of the LLC, that's COIT. It's completed. You own it. If you're the trustee of a trust, that's for your benefit, so there's different ways of describing it. I'm just not smart enough to
Right.
figure that out.
But an LLC is usually intended to shield the owner
Mhm.
from limited liability. So this is someone that has limited liability, but then wants to come around and have full participation.
Well, they still pay
voting.
taxes. They still pay taxes on it.
Yeah.
Right, but I think what we're really intending here is that this person has to own real property.
Yeah.
And to Todd's point,
But then,
Well, and to Angela's point, it already says that.
Right,
Right,
most,
so-
most
so-
of the doctors
so
I
you're-
represent, most of the attorneys I represent, a lot of finance people, the property's in their wife's name,
always,
always, because there's
Yeah,
just such
liability.
exposure. If you're a surgeon,
that's right.
if you're a surgeon, you're just not having.
And also your
Putting the
your
wrong direction
mortgage.
on that.
If you have-
Spouse, not the wife.
But if you have a mortgage, that's still limited. In other words, if the mortgage, if you can't pay the mortgage, that's not against the people, the owners, it's against the mortgage, the institution.
All right, I think
That
we
would-
got through the
you're
big
getting-
thing
I
here.
think it's just things I'm thinking of that are making it complicated.
Yeah,
I also worry about the people currently on the Board of Finance and whether or not they would all meet this exact criteria. I don't want them to all of a sudden be purged because we've put in wording.
no, we're making it
Yeah,
broader.
I think we're
Right.
making it so broad that I don't think that's what
Okay,
you're trying to do. You're
which is
trying to
which
get it
argues
better.
for leaving it.
Yeah,
the way
I leave
is.
it. I don't want to
Okay.
affect the people currently on there.
Okay, well, okay.
And God knows they're not all, husband
Okay.
and wife ownership, but
Let-
it's never that way.
Let's
Yeah.
go up to number 1. And this is to clarify this statement here. As you recall, we already had a vote. This is on term limits not to exceed. We agreed to, or was voted 12 consecutive years of service for appointed town officers on any appointed boards and commission for which an individual has served. Now, this is the added language that what we did not vote on. If the end of the consecutive 12 years occurs within an unfinished term of office, such term may be completed by the town officer.
Mhm.
So you're in the middle of, you hit 12 years and you're in the middle of a 3-year term, let's say, and you finish that and then you're done.
Yeah.
Is that language?
Is that
Sufficient?
understandable to everybody?
That's
I
my
think it
question.
is, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, now, remember, if that goes on, now is that just part of what we want to add to the charter? Or is it's on the ballot, people are gonna be like, what?
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
right.
really the only thing we just want to, I think, this is the details, devil in the details kind of thing here, where, once you hit that 12 years, when do you roll off? And this should say, the language should say, you roll off at the end of your term. So there's perhaps a better way to say it, but we're just putting that in there now. The last sentence, Joe, sorry, go ahead.
We have a sentence already that, maybe, were you going to read the individuals?
The last one,
Yeah,
yeah.
please do, because that's.
Go ahead, Joe, read it.
Individuals may be reappointed to serve after absence by one full term of service, but may serve on other boards of commission at any time after completion of their terms of office.
Term be single, because they're finishing that term.
Right.
Yeah.
The point I wanted to raise is if somebody leaves in their 11th year, the way I would read this is that this then applies that they have to sit out one term.
Yeah, one
Right.
3-year or 4-year or a 2-year,
The term.
whatever.
They sit
Whole
out-
term.
So regardless
Yeah,
of
that's
what
right,
the
yeah.
departure is,
Right.
Yeah.
So
whether at
that-
the end of 12,
right.
okay. I got it. I
And so
got it.
So does it say that
Right.
if you're not,
no, we should just leave it as is. I'm just trying
I'm
to
saying
figure out a
leaving it
little
as is
better,
may be good.
better
Yeah.
language.
After
in that
absence
segment.
of one full term, so by.
After one full term of service. So if somebody leaves in year 10, for whatever reason, and that one term that expires, and then they can come back when the term expires.
So what we haven't voted on, and I'll just offer I think a full term, whether it's 3, 4, or 5 years, and we have commissions that have those years of term, it's, in my view, too long. I know the research that we've done, I think it was you, Joe, somebody's done research, maybe you,
Mhm.
Jennifer, that looked at other towns where they do have term limits. And I think it was a mix, but I know a number of them had 1 year.
Only one had 1 year.
Oh, was it only one? Who was it?
Only one, I can't, I'll have to look up
Fairfield,
mine, I have to look
Yeah.
at the research I handed
I thought
out.
it was.
A lot of them were,
Full
you're
term.
gone.
Oh, don't come back or
Don't-
just silent?
No, you don't come back.
You don't.
A couple were that don't come back. Yeah. So it was a,
Don't come back on the committee
That-
that
The
come in.
same
Oh,
commission,
yeah, same committee. They could go to another
the
committee. right?
same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but an
sure.
awful lot of towns in municipalities in Connecticut don't have term limits and don't say anything at all about if they do have term limits, whether you have to wait a period before coming back. I mean, I think having some really tough requirements here really presupposes that we've got just this huge number of people who are desperate to get on a board or commission
No, we don't.
and will be applying. And I do not believe that that is the case, or that it will be the case, even with the improvements that we're pushing for in the appointment process. I think we're precluding a lot of people who do a lot of, hard work, put in a lot of time, and are committed to serving the town.
Angela, I mean, when you look at the data we saw, I mean, it's been a while since I looked at it. I would say 75% of the people, had 4 years, maybe it was 5, but 3, 4, 5 years or less. And it was only 25% of the people, I'm going from recollection, that really had a lot of years, which would indicate to me that there's lots of people willing to serve. And, the thing that concerns me is when you're around on a committee for 15, 20 years, the world's actually moving pretty quick in 15
And you
year
can stay
increments.
with that world.
Yeah.
And you can stay well advised and still add value, even in your 15th, even in your 20th year.
can I suggest
But
some better
it's-
Well,
language?
some
Yes.
some can, some can add value, but the majority, I mean, there are
I
there
think
are some people you
we're-
never want to see leave.
And I think we have a town that's exactly what we have. The 20 or 25% of those who have served more than 12 years are certainly in service to this town because of their qualifications and their contributions. So go ahead, Jennifer, you had some language you wanted to say.
Yeah, so why don't we say this? No person shall serve more than 12 consecutive terms as an appointed board member of any board or commission. If the 12-year limit is reached during an unexpired term of office, right? The member may complete that term.
Period,
Yep.
yeah.
Period, okay? A person who has reached the 12-year limit on a board or commission is eligible for reappointment to that same body after an absence of 1 full term.
That's good.
Make sense?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
email that over. I just wrote that.
email that. Okay, let's,
The first thing you said was terms, you didn't say years. When you- at the
No,
very
I said no person shall serve more than 12 consecutive years.
Years.
I did say that, yep.
Good.
okay.
Thank you.
All right, I think we should probably only make a motion on the portion of the serving on the unexpired term and the 1 full term of waiting before the hiatus, right? We're not gonna vote again on the term limits of 12 years. We've already had that vote.
Right.
But
Okay,
that's incorporated, is it not?
well, this whole thing would be
Yeah,
incorporated, but we
so
only,
it
we only
doesn't-
voted on a portion of it, so.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, so if the end of the consecutive 12, well, what Jennifer said, okay, just
Want me to
Jennifer
re-
had the
you want me to
good
repeat it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
could
go
you
ahead.
perhaps type it into the chat?
Sure.
That might be the
that
best.
may-
She's not on Zoom.
I'm not
Oh,
on
you're
Zoom.
not on Zoom.
No, I'm not on.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
just
here, I'll
read
repeat it
again.
and I'll.
Thank you.
I'm gonna be back.
Okay.
I do have to do what I
Thank
have to do.
Okay, all right. Well, we're not gonna vote then on this. We'll wait until you're
with
back.
the- I like your language.
Okay,
Is that?
Okay.
Going back, the language that you said, I'm in favor of, you could put.
Okay,
I
okay,
thought it was
got it,
well
okay.
written.
okay.
So you're not coming back?
I am gonna
Oh,
come
you are.
back
Well,
probably
then
at
we can just
5:30.
wait till the
Well,
end.
let's just get through.
Oh,
it.
either way,
Yeah, let's
it's all
just get
right.
through.
Okay, wait. So can you hold on for 1 second? I'm gonna make a motion. Okay, then we can motion, and you can start the vote. Okay, so this part of that, we've already voted for more than consecutive years, so we're gonna park that. If the 12-year limit is reached during an unexpired term of office, the member may complete that term. A person who has reached the 12-year limit on a board or commission is eligible for reappointment to the same board after one full term, after an absence of one full term.
Yeah.
Mhm. Period.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor? Oh, I'm in favor. You know, we got it.
Okay, she's gonna call it out. Go ahead.
Okay, so who made the motion, Jennifer or Todd?
Todd made the motion,
Okay.
Judy
Judy
seconded.
second.
Yep,
Todd voted yes.
okay.
And the rest.
So let's go round, shall I do
Yeah.
the roll now?
Please.
Mr.
Yeah.
Case,
Yes.
Miss Corbett,
No.
Miss Holm,
No.
Yes.
Miss Jameson, no. Mr. Kimes,
No.
What?
okay.
Should we have more
Mr.
discussion?
Lampert, we already have as a yes. Mr. Labrie is absent.
What? Oh, did you say? Yeah.
Miss Neville,
Your vote.
Should we have more discussion on two
No, we're
no's?
And
voting.
then we're voting.
Well, yes,
okay.
but
Mr.
I'm just
Pellet?
wondering why
Yes.
why we're.
Mr.
stalemate.
Perret,
Mr. Perez, I'm a yes.
okay, Miss Willett,
No,
a no. Okay, so we have one.
Did Mr.
two,
Pella
three,
vote?
four-
I did,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, 4 no's.
I thought we were in agreement.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I
Yeah.
just think that the full term off is too long,
So the motion
That's
carried
nice.
6-4.
having had to recruit people.
Okay, 6-4.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I stand as well.
Okay.
All right.
All right, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Okay, so we're going to have that on the ballot. We're going to have number 2, which is to increase, we still have to go through some of these boards and commissions, but those who are at 2 years, we're going to increase those to 3. We're not having number 3 on the ballot. And the last one is just sort of technical details. That is thus far. If we have anything else, but that's the working ballot, if you will. Okay, let's go to now, if we can go to the summary page on page 16. This just reemphasizes, go through and edit. If you have any changes, you can get those back to me, but we're done with Article 1, Article 2, the town officers. Again, these are just a summary of what's happening here. And actually, Joe, if I'm not mistaken, you would suggest some language that said this is a summary, look to the charter itself.
Just to
right?
make sure that
Yeah.
if this.
I did not add that
If
sentence.
this conflicts with the charter, the
Yeah.
charter is the superior document.
We'll get the wording on that.
Okay.
Article 3, First Selectman, Board of Selectmen. And this is where we added this is the open position shall be filled within 180 days of vacancy. And we also added that appointments by the Board of Selectmen to planning and zoning are subject to the confirmation by town council. Those were our agreed changes. There were no changes to Article 5 on the town council. However, if you go to page page 4. If you go to the actual charter language itself, which can be found on 21. This was, I just got a suggestion from Commissioner Willett that said that she wanted to, Group 3 suggested moving C21-7. I'm at the top of page 22 now, which was language about the town council. It was sitting in the miscellaneous section.
Yeah.
And the suggestion was to move it to Article 4 of the town council. And it reads, 21-7 is the authority to adopt codification of ordinances and bylaws by reference. And this is the town of New Canaan is authorized to adopt a codification of and codifying amendments to those ordinances and bylaws by the adoption of an ordinance under 4-11.
That's just the manner of making bylaws and ordinances.
Okay, 4-11 is the manner by which bylaws and ordinances. So this is the language tied to the hereof stated in substance that the code of ordinances and bylaws is adopted and the requirements under 411 for publication in full of said codification of and codifying amendments to the ordinances and bylaws shall be deemed satisfied by filing 2 copies thereof in the office of the town clerk at least 8 days before the effective date of ordinance adopting the same. And that's language not changed, just moving it from miscellaneous to Article 4, Town Council. Any comments or corrections?
Makes sense to me.
Okay, just a consensus. Anybody object to this? Okay.
Are we discussing the recommendations made by the 3 women, or was it 4 now, from the town council that were in the minutes? Because there are,
On the parking commission?
well, no, on
Oh.
everything. There was the town council, the piece about that Maria Naughton imposed.
That was on education. Board of
Was on
Ed.
Board
No,
of Ed.
no, but I'm just saying, do
Is it in
any
the
of
minutes? I
these,
don't-
yeah,
okay.
it was just sent to you yesterday.
We have the minutes here.
Because I think those are worth discussion. I
Okay,
thought they
under
were
the
some
town
good
council section.
ideas. Yeah, they were of interest. Let me put it that way. I
Okay.
don't know that they're critical.
So
but-
we have Ms. Naughton was Board of Ed. She's police commissioner, police commission, no, parking commission, excuse me. I didn't see any other language.
I don't recall any comments from town council members that would affect the actual town council section.
No, there was the one about
Maybe on
signing
the-
at the end, which is what we do on board.
Oh,
of
but that,
Finance.
yes. But
I
that-
don't know if that's even necessary, but I think it should be under, I mean, we should at
Oh,
least
she
talk about it.
referenced,
Yeah, it was the
approval of
code approval
appropriation.
like they do. I guess they do it at Board of Ed, which I had.
Right, but I think we're
forgotten.
gonna get to that on the Board of Finance, because
Okay.
Bill and I had actually
It is in the Board of Finance section.
asked that they have to
Yeah.
approve any appropriations, and then,
Okay.
yeah.
That's
I
a
thought
no.
I thought the area that, I think it was, Maria Norton brought, I think it was Maria brought up in the Board of Education about building in the expectations around certifications was the right thing to
That was
do.
it. That
Yeah,
was it, yeah.
because it's the right thing to do because, you know, if you're on the town council, and there's some other relatively independent body. We in the town want to know that they are passing all of the tests that they're supposed to be passing, given $120 million a year we give them. Just like it's the fire department and the police department, we would expect that they, you know, pass their certification tests as well. And that should be a
Okay,
requirement.
Okay, let's come to the Board of Education when we get to that section. I want to wrap up the town
All right,
council.
all right, that's
Okay.
different, yeah.
All right, and that's Article 4. And so we have accepted the suggestion by Group 3 to move Section C21-7. And we'll find a spot for it where
Yeah.
it's gonna sit, okay? All right, so that's gonna move across. Let's turn to Board of Finance. Now, the major changes here on the Board of Finance are beginning on page 23. Top of page 23, this is actually under section C5-4. And this is highlighted, the first paragraph there, half paragraph. All Board of Finance members shall receive training annually on municipal finance principles and governmental accounting. This came up as part of Group 2's discussion, or actually it was Commissioner Holmes' suggestion with Diane.
Came from the Board of, the Finance Department.
So
Diane.
Diane Wilson, and so Diane has also sent a follow-up email to all of us. And just for clarifying purposes, that one sentence came up where there is a proposal under, it might be under CCM or it might be under GASB, that they're these groups of organizations that are working on municipal accounting principles and so forth, governmental accounting. They're thinking of establishing some training. They have not done so thus far. So the suggestion that, oh, gee, this wouldn't it be great if all the Board of Finance members can get training annually? And the fact of the matter is, yes, that would be a great idea. That doesn't exist today. There are other options to perhaps get training from auditing firms, et cetera. But what was being referenced here was something that doesn't exist today. And I think that's a great best practice once something like that is established, but it doesn't need to be part of the charter. So that's why.
I would agree with that as well. And
who was that, Bill?
Bill.
Mhm.
Okay. So I think it's a great practice. It doesn't currently exist right now, but I think it should be, but it doesn't need to be in the charter because these things will change over time.
I agree.
Agree.
Yep. Okay.
Well,
Consensus on that?
Yep.
Yeah, we have the same issue. And again, it used to be practice and it's not written anywhere. And that's the training both in the police commission and in planning and
Okay.
zoning. So, I mean,
That's going to come under the list of things that people should start focusing on.
well, is it there or should it be codified in either an ordinance or here?
I think I actually agree with you, Judy. I think all of this has to be an ordinance.
Ordinance. Yeah, but not the
But they're
charter.
so
though.
backed up on ordinances.
Well,
That's like
I think
saying
we're all
it's
going to
never going to
volunteer to
happen.
help.
Never
Actually,
going to
the-
happen.
The good news is the town council is meeting in their next meeting and they're introducing an ordinance on parking commission. The one that wasn't done 10 years ago, thanks to Commissioner Pallo identifying that, they're going to make that change. So I think they're listening and those ordinances are changing. So here on the training for police, for Board of Finance, et cetera. Commissions,
yeah.
excuse me. We do like that language. We're not going to put it in the charter. We'll put it in a recommendation.
Page are you on?
I'm on page 23 in the
23,
top of the
okay.
page. It's crossed off, but it was highlighted because we wanted to have that discussion. Anybody opposed to taking that out? Okay, hearing none, we're going to move forward then. Bond issues. This was, Jennifer, did we change something here?
Some of this is, can I make a recommendation? I was gonna look at this, but I spent my time on conservation today.
I know you did. Yes, you did.
I was doing lots of color coding
Yes.
here. Some of this doesn't reflect what we had put in
Who's we? The group
that I
two?
had sent you, yeah. Would you mind if we table this and do another one?
We're doing
And
this tomorrow.
Okay,
We'll
fine.
come
I
back
will,
to it.
I will look at this again tonight.
Okay,
Cause I have like a whole system on this one.
okay, good.
Cause this one we pull apart, put back together,
Moved.
we move audit out.
Yeah.
We do all sorts of things to this one.
Well, let me tell you one substantive change there. Water rates, which is section C 5-24.
Yeah.
It's taken out. The Board of Finance, the town does not guide water rates or taxes involving water. So that I probably didn't do it 10 years ago either. It should have been taken out then, but so
So
that's
where
going to be
you-
out.
I'll do this tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, and then you'll bring it back to us.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing there on where it's yellowed in, top of page 24, and this is where on the accounting system, this was an ad. And I clarified this with both Diane and Kelly Lenz. This language was put in, not sure by whom, but anyway, the town council will approve/receive. I think it's originally, somebody said approve. I added receive, that's for discussion. The audit report prior to submission by the Connecticut Office of Policy and Management. So as is typical on any board, particularly when you're submitting something from the CFO and the CEO on an audit report, it's the town council, it is the board of directors, in this case, the town council, who receives the report. And that would be, in my view, if this language was added, that the word receive be there, not approve. Approve entails a lot of work that is not something that the town council needs to be doing, but receiving the document as we have, as they have historically, but we're codifying it here. I think receive is the appropriate word there, but it'll be up for further discussion because.
Would it be receive and approve?
I think,
Approve is a different thing.
Well, I know,
I think
that's what I'm
that's the debate we
saying.
have to have
That's
on
the,
this
that's what I'm
article.
not clear. If you're receiving, that's just,
You received it.
you
heard
received
the
it.
report.
You just
heard-
got it
yep.
and you can read
You
it or
can't
throw
skip
it.
can't skip the town council. They
No,
have to
you
receive
can't.
it.
They have
Right.
to receive it.
Correct.
But then it's up to them to see what they do about it, I guess.
Yeah, we could talk, but there was
Yeah.
concerns that you're loading numbers into the state system,
It's right.
right? And
Yeah,
so,
but approving a document like that, this is a whole other
I
kettle of
don't
fish.
necessarily think town council members are qualified to.
Yeah, correct.
I don't know that they are either, but who
Correct.
is doing this now?
I think
probably does
what we
go
should
to-
do, I think what we should do is look for I think neither of the words we're talking about are descriptive, but at a minimum, they should receive and authorize for filing.
okay, that could be interesting.
Authorized?
Well, I think you may run into the same problem there, Bill, which is that you'd need to do a certain level of work in order to be comfortable voting to authorize. And, again, this could hold things up. There could be a complete roadblock in town council about whether they're prepared to authorize or not. And then again, are they even, qualified to decide
Well, I
whether?
think,
to
no,
authorize
I
or
understand,
not?
Angela, Angela, what you're saying, but, on a board of directors in every company of the world, there are people with different skill sets. And they rely on experts and they rely on advisors. So I was looking for a word that allows them to rely on the experts and the advisors, but somebody in the town, who's an elected official or a senior official, really needs to say, these are the right financial statements to be filed, and to continue on. We had an audit committee that looked at them. We had auditors that checked them. We had a finance department that prepared them, et cetera. So it's the collection of all of that they're relying on other people. But you can't just have the chairman of the audit committee or the chief financial officer say, oh, go ahead and file these things. There's more people. One could even argue the Board of Finance maybe should, but that would be up to the town council to ask the Board of Finance for an approval or for recommendation.
It does go through the Board of
Yeah.
Finance. It does go through the Board of Finance.
Yeah.
Well,
I think, but I think to Bill's
it
point,
doesn't really go. I mean, it goes to the Board of Finance. That's the problem with nothing in these rules, or nothing in our book saying anybody responsible for anything. It goes to the Board of Finance, but they don't approve it. They may not even read it.
They don't
And
read it.
It is,
No.
it is no
I read it.
requirement.
I read it.
I looked at it.
I read it.
Yeah.
Well,
but there's no-
okay.
but there's-
You presume the audit committee would come in and do the presentation to the
town council.
town, but you presume that, but maybe
No,
it
the
should
audit committee
be.
doesn't do a presentation on any.
But they
This
could.
is the auditor
I
does
know,
the
but they could.
presentation.
We used to have the audit committee go in and make the presentation, but it was us who was pushing our way in rather than part of, I mean, having
right.
been there,
Yes.
there is no requirement. And what we're really looking for a word that captures the chain of command all the way up in the town to
Correct.
to the town council. And just saying that they, I think
I agree.
authorize filing or approve filing. I mean, God forbid the thing's wrong. I mean, if it was a material weakness or no opinion at all. mean,
I just
certainly
don't
the
think town council are gonna, even if it is wrong, they're not necessarily gonna identify that. And then who's liable? That you making town council liable for misstated
Well,
report?
but in any
Oh,
bank.
the auditor- the
you have
auditor would have
risk
a-
and controls, right?
The auditor would outline that in his opinion, but I think.
I would just be curious what's the standard in municipal.
They receive, the standard is to receive it. The standard is to receive it before it goes up to the
Well,
Connecticut office.
the standard in government accounting, I'm sorry, the standard in government is no one's responsible for anything. just read the
That's your
newspaper.
opinion. That's your
Right.
opinion. And
Well,
we are
you know,
responsible.
no, I'm
As
talking-
we are
I'm talking-
responsible for doing this charter. So let's move
I'm
on.
talking,
So
I'm
how do you
talking
get this right, gang?
Karen's gonna come
broadly,
back.
broadly in the
Why am I
United
calling-
States.
I
Broadly in
don't
the
know why
United
you're calling
States.
me Karen.
Jennifer's
I'm
gonna-
beginning to wonder myself.
I
We
think
need to talk.
it's a heavy lift. We
We have
can't
two
even
Karens.
agree on one
Jennifer is
word.
gonna come back. There's some like, she's gonna clarify. We're gonna come back with that.
Just to understand, the sentiment behind this is, whenever I had my P&L, my financials, they were being loaded, giving to auditors or regulators or whomever. There was always, not just Jen, not just my finance guy, Mike. There was another set of people who looked at it because that shares the liability and shares the risk. And if Judy's looking at it and she finds something wrong, even with language I would give to the regulators, it would run past legal. There's always this balance.
That's different. Yeah,
But this is also, this system has penalties. It
That's
has
right.
criminal penalties. You can be fined if you load bad data. So I think the sentiment behind this is essentially someone else needs to review this and also approve it so that essentially we're not loading something where the liability is solely on a certain set of people.
Well, validate might be a good word.
Validate.
Validate. If I
Oh my
sat,
goodness.
if I served on the
That's
town
not
council
bad.
right this minute and it said approve or validate or reconfirm or do any of that, I would be taking the next couple of months sitting there and going side by side with the auditor to review all that material
Agreed.
before I signed off
Okay.
on that.
It's just not the
Well,
right group.
I
The
think maybe.
discussion that we had in group 2, when we spoke with Diane and our CFO, was that
Right.
they felt that it was very important that they receive it. Approval would potentially cause delays, problems, but it does put a requirement that they must provide a copy of it to a body that can review it and ask questions and have oversight in that regard. So that was the way they were very clear about it, because I don't think
Yes.
approve is the right word, but receive for sure, because it means they
Steve
have to
is
furnish it to the
safe.
group.
And I have served on the town council and that's what we did. We received it.
That is
That's
right.
it. It
That's
wasn't
right.
asked to approve it. It was
All right, so why
received.
don't I will go back and look at the notations here and we'll come back with something. I'll send you something tomorrow. What time do we meet tomorrow? 4?
4 o'clock.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
send you something tomorrow.
Okay, all right.
We could say they receive it and can ask questions.
Oh, come on.
Well,
Of
they're
course
gonna-
you ask
they're-
questions.
they're
They-
gonna ask
I think
questions
that's,
anyway.
that's a standard. That's
All
a
right.
standard. They're presenting to the town council. The town council said, we asked lots of questions and during my
Okay.
4 years there.
Okay.
So yes,
You do,
that
they do
happens.
ask questions.
Of course.
But this goes to the same point that I made with the treasurer. It's levels of review. In a corporation, you have easily 3 levels of review.
Yeah.
Nobody ever is just the only person.
But the
Right.
board doesn't approve. the
That's
audit.
right. No, they don't.
They do not.
I
They
agree.
receive it. Okay, let's
So,
move on
all right,
to,
we'll get it
speaking of
right.
audit, we're moving to Article 6.
Kathleen, Kathleen, just to,
That's
just to pick on that plate, because I think it was a good point. I'm sure the board you're on, you have the entire presentation, and then the board authorizes the company to file a document.
I have an idea.
That's a good point.
I didn't mean to step on.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say they receive and accept. So they receive it, okay, but then if they don't
That's
accept
the
it, they
same.
can push
Oh
it
my
back.
goodness.
No?
Well, if I were going
Okay,
to,
That's
I was
getting.
just trying to help.
I'm sorry.
I'm skipping this. We're moving on.
Okay.
I'm
I was just trying to be
No,
helpful.
I know. Let's,
you guys.
right. Let's move on.
All right.
So let's move to the audit board. We're going to modify the name of audit committee to audit board. I don't have any issues with that unless somebody else does.
For what reason? Let me just ask.
Why was it changed?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I-
We
Go
didn't
ahead.
change
Who
it.
suggested that? You did,
Well,
Joe.
because
Yeah.
the word committee took it into the TDAC arena where you didn't have to be a resident of the town, I think, to be on it. And this got it out of the encumbrances of committee.
Well, we fixed that up front where we said unless specified,
Yeah.
which in TDAC, it is, you don't have to be a resident. So that, if that was the reason, it could have remained as committee.
Well, this emerged first.
Yeah.
So it
Right.
emerged, it's there. If you want to make it committee,
Well, I agree with Joe. I mean, otherwise it sounds like it's one of these ad hoc committees
Yeah.
that the Board of Selectmen sets up from time to time and they do their stuff. and then they go in abeyance. It gives it an element of stability, I think, that
Right.
and heft that the word committee
Yeah.
doesn't give it.
Yes, I agree. Thank
I
you.
agree.
I just think the whole thing, I mean, to be honest,
Yeah.
no one's ever defined properly in this charter, what's a committee, what's a commission.
No, we haven't.
Like in
what's a
my mind, a
board?
committee is an ad hoc thing that doesn't require an ordinance
Right.
to start
Okay.
it.
That's
But
right.
The whole
it's
thing
not
seems to
necessarily
be-
consistently done that way, but I
Not
agree with
It's
this.
not consistently, you're right.
But I agree.
However, the world knows audit committees
Yeah.
by their
That's
definition.
probably
By the
why-
way, everybody's
Yeah.
got one, so.
Yeah.
That's why
yeah.
it got that name to start with.
Of
But I think
course.
it's more consistent with the board in
Yeah,
this town.
nobody's gonna understand what an audit board is, but nonetheless, I am not gonna make a fuss about
I'm
that.
fine with audit committee. If everybody else is, I don't know why.
So-
Nobody's gonna call it that. They're gonna slip and
Yeah,
slur. and-
exactly. So
know.
let's move to the top of page 25, because there's been some comments out there. So the town council is appointing members of the audit board, and the
Where did that come
excuse me,
from?
the Board of Selectmen appoints members of the audit board today, and it's subject to confirmation by an affirmative vote of 7 members of the town council. So that's what exists. A number of people have raised, should the town council be the appointed body that appoints the audit board? I'll just say, I think the way it works now, having the two works, but if somebody wants to raise
I
a
will.
reason, yeah, I think it came from you,
I'll
right?
get into a controversial. I think it has to have, again, total separation of powers. I felt that when I was in. I still feel that way. I did not have an audit committee, audit board, or anyone. I did internal audits every single year in addition to the required audits because I found out so much I didn't know and no one else knew. And we corrected it and we moved on. But it should be, I thought when I was doing this, it should be separate from my office. And I still feel that way. There was no one to do it, so I did it.
So
They have a
Judy,
ton more people
so
now.
Judy, what's your proposal? That the town council appoint the members of the audit whatever?
Well, they
The
would
audit-
have to if you're not
Oh,
going to
no, no, no,
elect them.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
so the town council will appoint the members of the audit, whatever, and they'll be approved by subject of 7 votes?
Whatever you would decide. I mean.
No, but I'm just saying, how would you rearrange the process? I'm
well,
just trying to
you'd have-
understand your
you'd have to
idea.
have you'd have to have a majority vote.
But there's no board of selectmen involved now.
To Judy's point, if you open an annual report, it doesn't say auditors, it says independent auditors. And they focus on independence, having worked for the largest accounting partner and largest accounting and audit firm in the world. Independence drove us crazy every day. You couldn't have a credit card if we audited the company. I had to sell stock in companies that we took on the audit. So it's the word independence. And Bill, I'm sure if he's on, will support that.
I agree. I think it's, having an audit committee is such a first-class thing for the town. I think taking it to the step of having the town council appointed is really a good thing to do.
It's the independence.
I
Independent.
agree with independence, but the independence applies to the auditor, not the audit committee or the audit board. It's the auditor that needs the independence, right? So
When you say the auditor,
the auditor, meaning who's our auditor today? It used to be, Bill, do you know who's the auditor?
I see what you're saying.
It's
The outside firm.
the
Yeah.
Oh, the
outside
auditor-
firm,
The auditor needs to be independent for sure.
for sure.
But I do
For sure.
think,
I don't think just having the town council be the ones to vote for them and excluding the Board of Selectmen, I don't know why we'd want to do that. The Board of Selectmen is also an elected body. The town council is an elected body. We have the belts and suspenders already in place. Board of Selectmen, as they do every other board and commission, goes first to the Board of Selectmen. And then on the select few, including Board of Finance, including Audit Board, including Ethics Board, and soon potentially Planning and Zoning, those are going to the second step, which is the town council.
So is the audit report a public document? Can I go online and see the?
We're talking about the Audit Board right now, so come
So-
back
So
to your
just for
question.
clarification, there's outside auditors,
Right, I
right?
understand.
Sometimes this all becomes like interchanged. And then we're talking here just about our appointed body of the,
Right. So, I think if by going to just the town council, you're eliminating a step that works for every other board and commission that we have in town. And that's going through the Board of Selectmen first, and then the select few going to the town council. And I'm suggesting that not change.
The only thing, Kathleen, is that you're correct in the way you outlined it. The only thing is that fundamentally the audit committee is reviewing the work of the finance department and really the first select, opposed to the selectmen department.
Operation.
And-
But you can
and-
make that
and-
argument. You can make that
Let Bill
argument.
finish.
I'm
Let Bill
sorry,
finish.
Bill.
Go ahead, Bill.
No, I was just simply saying that the one distinction here is that this is a check and balance of the first selectman and the finance department. And it's not the current first selectman. It's, doing something for 10 or 20 years. And so, so in that respect, it's different than the others. I think, and it really parallels what happens in business, because the shareholders vote in the auditors. The auditors are accountable to the shareholders and to the independent audit committee, not to management. And so by doing it, it gets it further away by making it the town council from management. That would be the only distinction.
That's it.
That's
That's
the-
the
I
issue.
agree.
Well, the
Yeah,
point
I
I
agree
was
with
going
that.
to make is, the Board of Finance reviews a lot of what the individual departments of Town Hall are doing, and can be a point of friction with the first selectman's office. Nonetheless, we are happy with the Board of Selectmen selecting and appointing the members of the Board of Finance, subject to the approval of Town Council. So I think it's just a question of degree rather than substance, the difference.
I don't think
So
they go into any, I don't think they go
It's
into,
wider.
I don't
It's
think they go
bigger.
into any of the departments. They're really, but I mean, they do work with the first selectman, no question.
Yeah, so let me just point out the full language of the audit board, which includes the organization, the powers and duties and so forth. In every case, they are reporting to the town council, the Board of Finance, and the Board of Selectmen. Again, to exclude the Board of Selectmen out of the process where all of us go through be considered for boards and commissions for the town, it goes through the Board of Selectmen. We've already talked about how we're going to be improving the practice of bringing people on using the Board of Selectmen, and in some cases, the town council. I think this is a case of belt and suspenders. It exists. I wouldn't want to preclude the Board of Selectmen in this process for identifying and voting on members of the audit board. So if this is, I guess we're going to have to take a vote on this because
Can I just add?
not a consensus. Yes, please.
The Board of Selectmen would still be involved in identifying and recruiting and interviewing,
And approving.
not the approving. The actual approval would go to Board of.
That's an
Look,
insult,
if-
frankly, to the Board of Selectmen.
Well, I
Right.
think there's actions that are
Yeah.
precluding this that
Yeah.
should be rectified. So
Yeah.
this is the only, other than electing them, I don't know how you get that
Shall I make a
separation of
motion?
powers. So
Is what is audited mostly the actions of the Board of Selectmen?
No,
In other words,
absolutely not. No,
But it's under the management of the Board of Selectmen, is what I'm saying.
they're managing their audit is of how, procurement is
Right.
done, right? So, that's the auditors, not the audit board.
Right, but the
Okay.
audit board is.
The audit board, they're
reviewing it,
independent as well. They can stand on their own. They can push back at the Board of Selectmen, the first
They're
selectman.
they're really auditing the executive branch, not the legislative branch.
right. Who picks
Right,
the
that's
auditors?
right. Who picks the auditors?
Yeah.
That has to be approved by the town council eventually. Goes through a whole
Goes
process,
through the whole process.
but the town council ultimately. So we can vote on this. We have two members who are not with us. So I do feel like that would leave some imbalance. But we can wait until Todd comes back, or we can table it until Chris is involved.
I
Chris is
defer
going to have a
your judgment.
view.
And Steve also dropped off, but I think we still have a quorum, right?
Yeah.
who dropped off?
I think Steve, I saw a note pop up that he
And
had
we
to go.
probably should wait.
Yeah.
That's three.
Oh, he just
Oh, yeah.
apologized.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
has
my
to-
goodness.
He's leaving for a flight in 5 hours. So, okay. So he's sleeping, it's late there. Okay, so that's the one open item on the audit board. Let's move, that's fine. That's fine.
I had this highlighted just so we don't have to come back to it. An annual report highlighted under C 6-3. Do we need to talk anything about
Yeah,
that?
so
before
we
move on?
got feedback from the audit board
Yeah.
that they didn't think this was necessary because they haven't done this. Bill, you may comment on this. The committee shall prepare and send it should say the board. We'll have to go and change everything to board.
Yeah, I was going to say there's several places
Right.
to change that.
The board shall prepare and send an annual report of its activities to the Board of Selectmen, the Board of Finance, and the Town Council within 60 days after filing of the financial statements with the state. So it was suggested that that statement be removed. We've left it in. We've highlighted it for discussion here. Bill, can you comment on that?
Well, I actually, are you saying that the audit committee or the board of the audit committee, so to speak, or the audit board is saying they don't need that?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, for the years that I was on it, we did it every year. I mean, we went to the Board of Finance and we went to the town council and we told them what we did and you know, why we did it and,
Yep.
you know, where there were problems, where there weren't. I mean, we were highlighting that. There has to be some kind of a communication. Maybe they don't need a written report, you know, particularly with video conferencing and everything, not video conferencing, but taping. But certainly they should review their activities with, you know,
Yeah.
somebody. I think one of the problems is, you know, we got the Board of Finance, the Finance Committee, but you know, that's just the town. That's the way we're structured. But they should have a report of what they've done and what they found.
Yeah. Okay, how about if it said the board shall prepare an annual report of its activities for the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, Town Council? Maybe there was something about sending something, it's in writing, when you prepare.
Maybe, yeah, putting in writing makes it, you know, Kathleen, you know this, that then you have to pick over every word, right? And, you know,
Exactly.
that becomes hard.
So how about just prepare an annual report, or an annual
I would say
presentation?
they should report annually, but I also would like to put the words, I would also like to put the word same in there, Kathleen, that it should be the same report for all three bodies.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's
Well,
pretty
it is.
self-evident, but maybe
It's
we
an
didn't put it in
and
there.
means one
The
report.
committee board shall report annually of its activities to the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah.
Can we
I
do
would
that
just-
instead of
sorry.
calling it like an annual report and make it a little bit less
Yeah.
prescriptive.
I just don't see what's wrong with the current language, quite frankly. It makes it clear it's just one report, and whether you send an annual report is you can send it by, you know, writing it on a piece of paper, or, you know, you could send it electronically. It doesn't.
Bill, I don't recall an actual written report. You might have, I remember you presenting to the town council and talking about it. Maybe there was a few bullet points that Chuck would put together. Is that the annual report you're referring to?
Yeah,
or-
that's the annual report. That was, in those days, we didn't really think it needed to be, oh, I'm sorry. I think we did, as you said, Kathleen, we reported verbally to those bodies and the report was the same. I would have to say the informality of it is probably just because, you know, we weren't very schooled in the charter. In fact, you know, some of the suggestions we've talked about is schooling the committees, what their responsibilities then.
No one is.
Yeah, so
Doing a
so
report, you know, I
you're
think-
fine with the language as it
I would
says?
like to keep the
Yeah.
language as it stands.
I'd like to add treasurer to that lineup.
Say that again?
Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, treasurer, and the town council.
Yeah, I'm not sure we need the treasurer in there at that, you know.
You know?
I mean, the treasurer,
Can attend any meeting.
Yeah.
yeah, the
Okay.
treasurer can
But
attend,
attend.
you know, all the meetings. But I don't-
Okay. All right, I think.
Before we move on,
Yes.
could I raise something else?
Of course.
Actually, the top of page 25, that first paragraph, it talks about the term limits for the audit board. And that is not in sync with what we've decided as far as term limits generally are concerned. I
Mm-hmm.
don't understand why.
Yeah, this
it would-
language, so once again, this language is odd.
You want to just
But
take
my
it
point
out?
is, I would make the audit board subject to the 12 consecutive year term limit, just like any other board or commission. I don't see why it needs to be different.
I see why they have this 3 successive actually solves the problem that we're trying to solve by defining how long they have to be off the board. So this leaves that vague. They just can't,
That's right.
they can only serve 3 terms, but it doesn't, by saying successive instead of consecutive, it doesn't say how long they have to stay off of the board.
But if they
Seven,
serve
seven.
3 terms, they can only serve 3 terms. They can only serve 9 years.
That's it.
That's
It doesn't have a welcome back.
Okay.
Right, but remember, this was all, we've discussed that ad hoc from having
Yeah.
corrected this.
Let's just make it the same as.
I think
Sorry,
it should be the same for all boards and commissions. If it's
Yeah,
12
it will be.
consecutive years, it should be changed.
I think we have
Yeah.
to go back due to some of these decisions we've made and also change some of the other language because of this, all of it in terms of impacted. I would say too, there was, yeah, so there was something in here.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
I don't remember at the time, do you, why they limited it to 3 successive terms?
I
Was
know,
there
just because
something
they've
to
answered
do?
this for me a few times. It's just because that was the sort of the norm in corporations at the.
Yeah.
Was it a corporate thing?
I think so.
That's
It
what
might
we
have, it might have
considered,
been.
Post
yeah.
Enron, auditors, the actual audited
Yeah.
person,
Auditor is not the audit committee.
or the auditor.
But I mean, is that from a auditing point
It
of
was the
view?
first time, it was the
Yeah.
first time that we had introduced term
Yeah.
limits. We thought
Yeah.
6 years wasn't enough. How about
Yeah.
9 years? And that's.
So
what I
is,
came up.
is 9 enough or is it getting too many? 12 is too many? Is
No.
that an auditing perspective? I don't know.
No, it's
No,
not.
I think,
Okay.
you know, for audit
Alright.
committees, for audit committees of boards, 9, 9 is short. So I mean, 12 would be fine, and 9 or
Okay.
12. So we could conform it, we could leave it the same, but it's really, I
Leave
think,
it the
whatever,
same. Yeah.
whatever
Okay.
seems to make sense.
But I think we can take this out because it's applied,
Yeah,
whatever we say at the
we'll
beginning.
just make it
just
consistent.
applies.
That's
Right.
right.
Just make it like the
Yeah.
rest of them. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right, we're still missing 2 members, and I think we're gonna come split down the middle on this one. What you missed here, Todd, is that whether or not we bypass the Board of Selectmen in terms of their appointing members, approving or voting on members of the audit board, and just having the town council doing it. So it would be unlike any other, except for the housing authority. It would be unlike any other board and commission, where we have 22, I think, or more. And by just going straight to the town council for approval.
As compared to going to Board of Selectmen
First
and
Board of
then
Selectmen and then the town.
getting
council.
ratified by.
Boards,
The town council would appoint them.
I understand.
instead of the board.
it's belts and suspenders having them both. Only a few boards actually have that, Board of Finance, Audit Committee currently, and Ethics Board. And then we're proposing P and Z to also be voted on approved by the town council as well. So I don't know if we want to make a motion or cast a vote on this, or we have 2 members missing.
Can I propose that we do it tomorrow so the people who are missing, who might be back, could just
No, they're
watch
not back.
yesterday's
I think we
meeting?
lose more
Yeah,
people.
they're not
More
back.
people tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And who's missing right now?
Chris Labrie and
And
Steve Case.
Steve.
Oh, Steve had to sign off?
Yeah,
Yeah,
need some sleep.
Oh, okay. I thought one of
Yeah.
them was back too. Never mind.
let's lean to hear if I don't think that's gonna work either, but let's table it until we can see if we can get as many people as we can.
So
Okay,
Bill is gone tomorrow anyway.
he's back on Sunday.
Yeah.
So we have two meetings next
2
week.
more than these.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Assessor, we've struck the name assessor and we are calling it the new name, Director of Assessment and Taxation and/or Tax Assessor.
Yeah, so this is mostly language coming from Cheryl to accommodate the ability to combine the tax assessor and tax collector roles. It was actually just today when I was reviewing this document again, that I think it might make sense to take that tax collector. So the tax collector appointment process is actually defined under the Board of Finance. I think I would move that over here and just define both of those here in terms of the appointment. I didn't think of it until I was reviewing, so I don't have the language for that. But it basically just allows the town to have both either a tax assessor and a tax collector and two people, or one person who does both roles. And the other substantive, potentially substantive change on here, I don't know how substantive it is, but was it says, if you look on page 26, that the assessor serves at the pleasure of the selectmen. We initially started that conversation because it seemed different than all other boards and commissions where, you know, appointments can be, the Board of Selectmen can remove them for cause. This at the pleasure of was really the only place that this occurs in the charter. However, and then we spoke to Cheryl and she thought that a 4-year term made sense. I looked through other towns and it's kind of half and half almost, I would say. I can get the data, but whether the term is defined or whether it's an indefinite appointment. So it has to be appointed because it's defined in state statute, you have to have that role, but it doesn't have to be a specific term. It could be an indefinite term. So for example, the Department of Public Works is an appointed position, but it's not, it's an indefinite position. So while it's inconsistent for the assessor to have this at the pleasure of language, if you think of them as just like a regular appointee, it is consistent with employees that are appointed. So that's kind of where we are. I have the language in here because that's what Cheryl proposed, to serve the 4-year term rather than at the pleasure of the selectmen. I don't have a strong position either way on where this
Well,
should
we
go.
didn't when we met on this.
Yeah.
And he did, and that was based on a
He being
Pete
Sebastian.
Stebby,
Yeah.
because he felt he was the only one that wasn't appointed. So that's how we got into this. Chris Jarbo thought it should be consistent, who made the recommendation to Sebi before the town moved on. So, you know what, I don't feel, you know, it's not something I, you know, feel strongly about. I'm just relaying what he told us and what we thought. So Cheryl thinks this is consistent. But is this consistent?
But it isn't.
But it isn't, from what I've understand.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that she didn't use the words that it's consistent.
What did she say?
I think that she said that right now, the way that it was functioning was more like an indefinite appointment.
No, it's not. It's at will.
Yeah, at will, which is all,
but
at will and.
Connecticut
it
is at
doesn't-
will.
It wasn't a defined term.
State.
See, do we have any non-elected employees anywhere that are here for a term? Why would we give anybody
No.
a term?
I mean, this is an employee, this person is an employee of the town.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, it's a very important function.
Sure
It's
is.
a senior
They
function.
get benefits, they get retirement.
Yeah, I
plan.
But
agree.
there, it's an employee.
And that's why I said the
I'm gonna have to
context.
sign off for
Originally.
one moment and I'll come back on.
Okay.
Can I make a suggestion? We
Yeah.
put C5-19 back as where it was, tax collector to be appointed. And the reason why is because when we look at section 5 of that, it lives around warrant of taxes. It all has the functions of taxes next to it, payment of taxes. And the only line that we remove in both of these things is to say that they can't be the same person. I think the issue was, from what I recall, is that we've had a hard time, and I can't remember which it is, collector or assessor. We've had a hard time finding one of them. So they actually are in violation of the charter at the moment, because in the charter it says they need to be separate individuals. But in
Well,
reality, my
absolutely.
understanding is,
We wanted to
It
be
doesn't
able
quite
to be
say that.
either
It just
way.
says
No,
they can't
that's
serve on
right.
another position that would violate the ethics.
Actually, I looked it up. It said there shall be an assessor and there shall be a tax collector. They're actually, it's section 2,
Mhm.
and it's actually not in just the old one, but the new one.
Right,
We're-
exactly.
They're defined as 2 separate people. Somewhere in one of our
So-
previous meetings, this question came up, and we were told that there was an explanation that would be provided based on some either legal review or some experiential review as to how and why they should be they can be combined. Because I'm not sold on, I haven't heard that justification yet.
So my understanding is they had to, so just as a matter of practicality, they put these people as one person right now because they have someone in training to
Right.
become the other role. But at the moment, they are not in accordance with.
We made it through the 800 number.
Get a mute. Bill.
Go ahead, Jen.
Right, so, I suggest we keep 519 where it is, because back in the, if you go back to the old one, it's IE, it's under, here's how the thing goes. Procedure for establishing special tax districts is 518. 519 is tax collector to be appointed by the selectmen. 520 is tax warrant. The Board of Financial issue a warrant to the tax collector, which is referred to above. So the flow of the articles goes rather nicely, and we've already probably butchered 5 pretty badly. My only thing is that we could take out the language, or we could modify the language, which is the tax collector shall not hold any
Which
other
section are you
office.
in?
Oh, sorry, I'm in the charter itself.
No, I know, but which
See,
article?
oh,
Five,
19.
five or
See,
6?
519.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The tax collector should not hold any other office in the town government. Right? So that's where that is. That says you can't be both.
Well, read the
Or
rest of that.
engaged, it's not an if, or engaged in any business in the town that could create a conflict of interest as defined in the town code of ethics. I'm in the charter itself, Tom.
Okay.
So you could remove the language that says the tax collector shall not hold any other office in the town government. And we can modify that language to support then the one person having both roles, if that is legally
Do we
permissible.
even need that?
But Jen, I mean, it says that the tax collector shall not hold any other office that could create a conflict of interest as defined in the town code of ethics. So provided that there isn't a conflict of interest, there's no problem with it being one and the same person
That's
under
right.
the current terms of the charter.
No, I mean,
That's how I read that line.
I
because
don't read it
line
that way.
exists everywhere.
You,
Yeah.
you
I
read
thought
it
it was-
how, Karen? When
I read it as you can't hold another position that creates a conflict of interest, not
Right.
that you cannot hold another position, period.
I know, that's right.
That's the way I've always
Well,
read
I
it.
don't read
That's-
it that way. It says
that's
shall
what
not
you
hold
wanted
any
to.
other office in the town
That's-
government. Boom.
No, but there's
Or
no
engage
comment.
in business of the town that could create.
Right.
It's a poorly
But
worded
there's a
sentence.
definition. I mean,
Be
part
read
of the
either way.
definition is you can't engage in any business in the town that could create a conflict of interest.
But
It's part of that
the
definition.
assessor actually generates the mill, what you're gonna pay tax on,
Mhm.
then goes around and collects it. Somebody says, well, I think it was unfair. That's the conflict right there.
Right.
There's no, because there's an appeal process.
No, I mean,
Everybody's
so what you're
got due
talking,
process. If you're not happy with your tax rate, you have a right to go in front of a group
Right,
that's
a board.
objective, and you get to appeal it. And if you don't like what they say, you get to go to the court.
That's
There's-
right.
there's two
And they
levels of
do.
review.
There's a few every year that do.
So,
I
so this,
Yeah.
the reason.
I don't have a problem with leaving the tax collector in Article 5. Like, I don't think it makes a difference either
Right.
way. But do we want to rename it? So here we renamed the tax assessor to tax assessor, director of taxation and, sorry, assessment and taxation.
I
No,
think we're
that's
only
not
doing
it.
this for a short period of time.
Well, the point is, when
But is
Debbie
that true?
retires, which is a few years, it'll probably be most definitely replaced by 2 people.
Right. so
I've
do we
been
want
through
to
this twice.
be
It's a
always two
very,
people?
very hard job to fill. And to get somebody who could, go back to school and get all the accreditation as he's done to do both, we're not going to have that happen again. So write it assuming it's going to be 2 people.
Then we don't have to change anything.
Then
It's
you
gonna
don't
be two
have to
people, we don't have to
change.
change.
That's what I
And
think
clearly,
too.
even
It's
if we don't
not-
change anything, they can make it one person because they've.
You can
done
still
that
make it one
before.
person.
I thought the only issue was whether or not it's at will, like if they.
Right.
Does the
that's
4
separate,
years
yeah.
still have to?
No, that
I
was an
know.
ad.
I don't think it
I
you need
would
that
make a
either.
There's no
I-
4 years
I
on
think
that.
it's
Do we all
okay.
agree that no 4 years? Are we all?
Yeah.
That's not even in the charter today.
Okay, okay, good.
So
So-
yes, I would
so-
just
Well, he's
leave it.
been here like 20
Okay,
years.
page
It's not
26,
4
guys.
years.
He's the best.
Guys,
Page 26,
Yeah,
I
why
would
would
just
we do
leave
that
it
to the next person? you know?
unedited there.
So we're gonna take out to
Yeah.
serve a 4-year term,
Yeah.
and who shall be responsible to the Board of Selectmen? That's.
Yes,
I'll-
take
I'll
out-
So
let
I think you have to say there'll be one direct. Well, no, you've got to rework this because you've got tax collector.
Well, if we can take out that whole director of assessment and put it back to the original wording.
Yeah, you could.
Okay,
Essentially, just don't change anything in this whole section.
okay, okay.
Well,
Let's see the new
as long
version,
as
and you can tell me
as
if I got
long
it
as
right.
it allows Sebi to continue until he retires in both
Well,
jobs.
I mean,
The
it doesn't
conflict was, it
enforce
was-
that, it allows it, but yeah.
It allows it, in other
It
words,
just-
and the next
This new
person
language was trying to codify a situation
know
that
that-
was put temporarily.
temporarily.
and I
That's
don't think
right.
it's
It's
necessary.
not.
And it
not-
didn't violate the charter, the actions.
Well, it
that they
sounded
took.
like somebody did think it violated it. and
I'm
I-
sure somebody.
But I don't know that they're right. I mean,
No,
I don't know. if
Okay,
it's-
so I will
fine.
edit this to just go back
Okay.
to normal.
All right.
All right, moving
I like
forward.
that.
The Board of Education, did somebody move something forward on that? No, oh, this was the,
Yeah.
what was
This
come
is Maria
forward.
Naughton.
Maria Knott.
Oh, this was, yeah,
that
here, I'll
language?
give it to you.
It's its own bylaws, the line it just says by its own bylaws, and we had a discussion about whether it's bylaws or procedure, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and under their own does anyone know, under the
she's-
Board of Ed's own bylaws, does it have provisions for satisfying some state compliance?
I do not believe so, but
I beg your pardon?
I
mean,
thought it did.
It de-
Is
yeah,
that,
sorry.
we should check.
it definitely does have that. I'm saying I don't think we need to add this again here.
Add more. Or
Yeah,
add it at all or add
add this
more?
extra step.
I think that was her point.
That was her point.
That was her point, was that they may not be fully, if they're actually complying, then they just send us the statement that they've complied and that's it.
Who did this? Group one?
She said,
This is
I-
group one,
yeah.
And did they accept, the board was there, did they accept in the Board of Education's own bylaws?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, I
They
thought
did.
so.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm sorry,
Okay.
I
Yeah,
misunderstood.
I mean-
Yes,
Okay.
I'm fine with this line here.
Yeah.
And the question is, does that address Maria Naughton's?
Well, she said
inquiry?
follow statute for BOE. So that
Oh.
must be absolute. Yeah.
Yes.
So, but
Yeah.
I'm asking, okay.
She asked for a certification.
She asked for
Yeah.
certification, but is that,
It,
the
that it had
bylaws-
complied with the statutes as well as its own policies and bylaws.
okay, so we got the bylaws.
So we
in
got
there.
that.
The question is, in the bylaws, are the state statute, compliance with state statutes in the bylaws? We don't know.
I don't know that.
Okay,
I don't
let's
know
find
that.
out.
All right.
Let's
But
find-
I think Maria's point was to have something in the charter that made it clear that the Board of Ed would produce a certificate of compliance with, state statutes, their own bylaws, the charter, and their own policies and procedures. I think she felt that it really needed to be in the charter.
It is in the charter. It says the Board of Education, consisting of 9 members, shall continue to exercise all of the powers and perform all of the duties conferred or imposed upon boards of education in towns by the general statutes and the Board of Education's own bylaws. And I think what I heard them saying is they'd like a signature that says that.
That's what she,
That's what she wants.
Yeah.
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 because this
But
is
if-
for
but
the members
statement
though.
says that you shall do that.
It doesn't in current language have, it's,
Say that again, sorry, who's
no, I was
speaking?
just saying, yeah, that's Russ. In the current language of the charter, it stops at general statutes. So it says to perform all duties conferred.
Yeah, no,
on-
we added.
That's
or
right.
Stops
we're
there, and then
suggesting-
she wanted to
Yeah.
add that because I think this all came down to the headcount thing in the budget presentation and making sure that they were held to account to meet their own standards, hence
And
including.
that's been added, and that was also conferred by the
Yeah.
Board of Ed, right?
Yep.
Well,
was Phil Hogan?
that was not the motivation for adding this, to be honest. It was the idea of providing signposts in the charter of all the
Other things.
various, things that boards, commissions, elected bodies have to comply with that define what their powers, responsibilities are. That was the thing.
Understood. Yeah, sorry. I was paraphrasing what Maria had brought up, which was
Right.
the reason
Yeah,
for it.
I don't think it was a
And-
bad idea, I must
I know, I
say.
thought it was worth considering. And when I asked her, do you mean that you should sign off as a town council? And she said, yes. I said, that's consistent with what happens at the Board of Finance at the end of a budget.
You sign off on
We
something?
sign off. There's not everybody. There's like 7 of us that were always signing that was passed around. So the question is, what do you want that to say if you want to include it? I don't know.
I think if town council wants this provision, they should create an ordinance for it.
Yeah,
And
the
not-
statute speaks for itself.
Well, that's
statute's right
another
there.
way
Why
to
do you
look
have to
at
repeat
it.
what the statute says?
If-
You
if-
have to do what the statute says.
I
Let's do
think
it.
it's,
That's
I
it.
think it's
They
overkill.
shall do it.
Shall comply with statute.
Yeah, if they want to sign a signed piece of paper.
Go sign paper. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't belong in the charter.
Yeah, I don't know if it does. I thought it was worthy of, a conversation because it was consistent with Board of Ed. And that
That's
was
not-
their point, but that's also
That's
an
what we're talking
elected
about, the Board
body.
of Ed.
I have a
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah.
I'm looking at their bylaws. I'm curious if it's covered here. The Board of Ed will perform all duties specified by the Board of Education by Connecticut General Statutes, Section 10/220, and other relevant provisions of the Connecticut General Statutes, applicable federal law, and policies and procedures of the Connecticut State Board of Education.
So that's in their bylaws.
That's in their bylaw.
So
page
they
7.
aren't signing off?
If they says
They will
have to,
perform all duties specified.
I don't know. Maybe that's what she
These are your
means.
bylaws you gotta perform. That's
Yeah.
it.
Right, I mean, I think a bylaw by definition is something you have
The
to
law.
I know one thing, like if you're dealing with home improvement contracts, they say you have to comply with the statute.
Yeah.
You gotta go read the statute and then comply with it. You don't have to rewrite it.
Yeah.
You have to like rewrite for these people what they have to do. They have to comply with this, for me. I understand people may have a different
Well,
opinion,
no,
but
I don't know. I'm
I-
raising it.
I
I
think
don't.
this added language covers what.
Yeah, I think the argument is.
Town Councilman Naughton has asked for it. Does
Okay.
it step you one further step by having a signed
I
piece of
don't
paper?
care either
No.
way.
No,
But
not
I don't think
necessarily,
that's
not
necessary. If
necessarily.
they want to do that. they
I mean,
can
you
put that in the
can,
ordinance.
you certainly can, but I don't know if
They
you
can put
need
that
to
in the
require it.
ordinance.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
all right.
I think the Board of Education is done. I think I've moved it forward to the summary section. I didn't, I will. Did I?
All right, parking was her other,
Well, we haven't got there yet.
no,
Yeah,
but that
we
was
can
her
jump
other.
ahead.
Let's
and try
jump to that,
skip.
yeah.
Okay, I will make sure that Board of Ed is moved
All right,
forward.
so we're okay on.
I think with parking, we're going to end up having to have a vote.
Yeah, I'm sure this has
And we're
become a
not in
huge
voting,
issue.
we're not
Oh,
in
it's
voting
already
mode. We're not in
God.
voting mode this afternoon, so maybe we should do
Well-
sections where we're
Well,
not.
can
gonna
we,
need
let's have a
vote.
discussion.
Let's have
about
a
that.
discussion and then-
Unless there's something that we can easily.
No.
But also, didn't Steve write a large part of it? He's not here.
Steve Case, yes, and that language is in there.
Well, that's not, what you said is not exactly
No.
true.
Okay.
Okay, It's
I
not
thought he was
exactly
sort of
true.
the owner of the
He was the owner,
presentation.
but he didn't write it.
I
It was
got you.
given to him
Gotcha,
by,
understood.
Yeah, he was the coordinator with the
Yes.
parking commission,
Yeah.
and this is really their wording, is my
This is their
understanding.
wording.
You-
Right.
All right, what
Let me do-
page are
let me
we
do a
on?
time-
No,
Hold on
no,
a second.
sure, okay.
Let's do a quick time check. It's 5:45.
All right.
We have yet to do fire commission. That's next. I'll just say what's in front of us. Fire commission, health and human services, inland wetlands, conservation commission. And that might be an easy one.
Let's do conservation. It's really easy.
Okay.
You promise?
Really
That
easy.
sounds good by me.
Really easy.
All right, let's.
I'll just make a blank statement. Parking, to me, I have had more people come up to me
too.
about parking
Mm.
than planning and zoning and everything else times 100.
It's just because they made.
It's big, right? It's just a
Because they made a
big,
major change.
The big issue right
It's
Big
just a
issue.
timing issue.
and the phone doesn't stop ringing about this, about between the restaurants and the parking and the pay things and moving things. It's a massive issue.
But I think it's a temporary hot issue because there's been a
I don't
significant
know.
change. It
No,
hasn't-
I
It
disagree.
hasn't sort of settled down and, maybe things need to be some changes.
I'm just making a statement. It's a hot topic today.
It is a hot topic, and I think, all right, I'm
So
gonna
it's gonna
say
take,
something.
my
and we're
point was
going
it's gonna
back.
take some time.
I just
Let-
wouldn't want to overreact in a charter discussion because we're in the timing of opening the charter is
it's not
coincided
good,
with a
yeah.
massive
Okay.
parking change
All right.
that some people.
But I think it's, if you want to take home a thought,
Go
do
ahead.
you want to weaken that commission to an advisory capacity? That's the whole issue here.
So here's what's happened.
Yeah.
I sat in and listened
Yeah,
to
I know,
the
I
parking
too.
commission and so forth. So this language, I'm on page 31 now, under powers and duties. When the police commission was asked, about the powers and duties, what do you think about this? We don't follow these. These need to be,
Yeah.
we don't follow, we don't do any of this. And I'm paraphrasing, forgive me. So Steve took it and he went off and he sat with them and they came up with what they think they do. The parking commission, excuse me, sorry. And so he came back with language that you see in front of you. And those 8 items that are listed have been there for many, many years. And so they redrafted this. The feedback we got from the town council, members of the town council said, let's not change this.
No, that's what
These
we're
are very
hearing.
specific. We're guided. The parking commission shall do these 8 things. And, and there's been an issue. So it appears to me that it is, if you want to call it advisory, but they recommend to the Board of Selectmen or the first selectman. So that's it. There's no reason to change that language. That's what they're recommending. They're not being given more authority or less. And I asked, Nick's not on with us, but we can ask him tomorrow. Is there any language that's currently in the charter now in the parking commission that's wrong or it's not? No, it just, was it all followed? Not necessarily.
Why was all this taken out?
Because they thought it was.
Who's they?
The parking commission itself made recommendations. And so just because things haven't been done doesn't mean that they shouldn't have been done.
And
So
I support that point because preserving the process, I think, allows for transparency and allows for some rigor in the actual recommendation process.
Yeah.
And the selectmen can still accept or reject.
Yeah,
Had
That's
this been
right. They
followed,
can
as
still
opposed to
decide, yeah.
skipped, we might not be in the situation.
I agree
we're
with you.
now.
That's right. I agree with you.
I'm totally
But-
fine with how
But
the
where
language.
is the
Yeah.
piece that
Yeah,
came
I'm-
out with the town council that the police commission was
Well, that's in
not,
here.
but they weren't consulted?
That's a different section. That's a
But,
different
but where
section.
does that go?
Police commission.
No.
Well-
There is a piece in here which
Yeah.
says, make similar recommendations to the police commission for parking of vehicles on any public street. So the process does require,
Yeah.
has asked the police commission to sort of opine on changes or recommendations before they're enacted. And a lot of that is due to traffic flow, et
Sure, but
cetera.
that wasn't done.
That wasn't done.
Well, and
So-
that was a separate thing too. So
Yeah.
the police commission
Yeah.
is about traffic flow. It's not about how much should
That's
be
right.
charged.
That's
Right.
right.
And
Two
that's why,
different-
that's a different thing.
Yep.
But that
I
was
think we're
mentioned
all,
as
I actually
well.
think we're all in agreement.
I do
So I
too.
would
Yeah.
like to make a motion that we actually do not adopt the red line.
Well, that's not what we do because it's already in place, so you
No,
wouldn't.
it's
move-
not.
No, it's not.
This is
No,
just a draft.
it is
So-
just a draft. We haven't voted on this.
Oh,
So I
okay.
want you, can I just finish
Yes.
my thought? There
Yes, you
is
can.
one small wording that I think does need to be changed. And that, and that is number 6 under C13-5, number 6.
Yeah, but
So
this is-
it starts off this whole paragraph, the parking commission shall, and then shall recommend, shall consider. But under 6, it says the parking commission shall prepare and submit. Doesn't need to say the parking commission shall. Again, it should just be prepare and submit. So that's a very small change.
Where are you exactly?
On number
Yeah,
6, you
I
want to take
did that.
out the
Oh,
first
okay,
4
all
words.
right.
Yeah,
Right,
because
okay.
that's not consistent with the way in which this section is laid out.
Can I ask you another question? Does the parking commission have enough knowledge to make these recommendations? Should they have the ability to hire consultants to help with planning and stuff like that?
I think they have the right to do that. I
They
mean,
can do
they
that now.
ask for money.
Yeah, it says
They do have the
including,
right?
including such professional assistance to the commission as may be approved by the Board of Selectmen, blah, blah,
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
But that wasn't done either.
I know.
But that's, we
See,
can't.
That's
this-
what we
blah.
got.
But I'm just
Regularly.
saying, we're not trying to regulate,
Right.
but none of this was adhered to.
Correct.
Okay,
And so you can't
uh,
just take it
I'll make
out
the
to make
motion
it
to
right.
accept the
Correct.
red line
Correct.
version that you have
Yeah,
No,
No.
no.
with the
So
change.
I'm making the I'm
You
making
make
the
it, I'll
motion
second it.
that we do not
We-
accept the red line,
Yeah.
the red line changes. We
Oh.
keep
The original text.
section C
Yeah,
13.5 as it was, with the exception of paragraph 6, where we just take out the words, the parking commission shall.
I second the motion.
Okay.
all right, now what happens with, just a second, hold on. The C13-6.
We'll get to
over
that.
here.
We'll
All
get
right,
to
so
that.
what are we making a motion on? Only the
just
red
see-
line?
Yes.
Okay,
Just
all
C
right.
13.
All right, then let's vote for that.
Basically, we're gonna keep what we have.
We're keeping what
Not
we have.
changing 13.5 except for the minor grammatical issue there. Yeah.
So an affirmative vote is to keep what we have.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Case is no longer with us. Miss Corbett,
Yes.
Miss Holm,
Yes.
Miss Jameson, yes. Mr. Kimes,
Yes.
Mr. Lampert,
Yes.
Mr. Pallo. Oh,
Yes.
yep. Mr. Labrise is not here, so Mr. Pallo, please.
Yes,
Mr. Perrette,
Yes.
thank you, Miss Willett.
Yes,
you skip this no.
Well, I skipped, Mr. Labrise and Mr. Case.
And Judy.
And, oh, I am so sorry,
It's all right,
Judy.
you're forgiven.
I'm
Yes,
sorry. Okay, Miss So, I may take your vote.
yes.
Thank you so much. I do
Okay,
apologize.
So 13-6 on annual appropriations for parking commission.
All right, that's.
This is for
We
Judy.
get a
Alright.
tally on the vote, please?
Oh, sorry.
So was it
One-
Unanimous?
Unanimous.
Unanimous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that takes care of our
All right.
involvement.
Okay. So appropriations, let's keep going, guys. Appropriations, so it looks like language was taken out. Was that existing language, that last sentence crossed
Oh,
out?
look, hold on.
Board of Selectmen shall present to the Board of Finance promptly after the effective date of this article an estimate of expenses for the remainder of the fiscal year and a request for an appropriation therefore.
is that like the first year this was put in the charter?
No. Yeah, that language has been in there.
That is, but what does it say?
That basically the parking commission should come up with an estimate of what the expenses are going to be for off-street parking facilities for the next fiscal year and put it, it says the Board of Selectmen shall prepare.
Yeah, that's what's weird.
I have the actual
It's the same.
charter
Yeah.
here, and they differ with what's represented here.
What does it say?
This is 13.6.
Hashtag.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read it,
The
Jim.
parking commission shall prepare and submit to the Board of Selectmen and to the Planning and Zoning Commission plans for the provision of public off-street parking facilities, which plans shall be completed on or before the 15th of November next day.
No. I think we're on the next one, 13-6. Go down.
This is 6.
13
No,
hyphen
13-6. You're in 0.66.
I'm reading from the current charter.
Yeah, but that, I'm looking at it too, and it seems to say something different from what you're suggesting.
Very
here.
different.
Yeah, right here. This is what you should look at right here.
Can you take a look? You don't mind?
Right here.
13.6.
You're at 13.5 sub number 6.
You're at 13-5-6.
Oh.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah, no problem.
There, okay. Okay, then it's the Board of Select, now it's consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're on 13.5 sub 6 or something. It's weird the way they have that there.
My apologies.
I mean, the fact that it lists promptly after the effective date of this article,
Yeah,
I feel like that's from when this was added to the charter and
yeah.
it's saying you need to do this now for that particular year.
I agree.
I'm not keen on the new language.
No, this isn't, I'm not understanding or liking the new language here
So
on
I-
the 613-6 annual appropriations.
So why don't we just strike after
Do
the
we-
effective date of this article? And isn't it the
I
parking
mean, that whole
commission?
last sentence, right?
No, I should say
Oh.
that the parking commission shall present to the Board of Finance.
No, it says the Board of Selectmen.
I know,
Yeah,
I'm-
it does say Board of Selectmen. Should
Yeah.
it be the Parking Commission?
Oh, I don't understand the
I
very
don't-
first
I
sentence.
don't either.
The Board of Selectmen prepares annually an itemized estimate of expenses. Board of Selectmen has never done
Never
that.
done that.
Yeah, I think that was.
No.
Well, that's why they've never done anything, because there's no budget.
But the Board of Selectmen doesn't prepare
No.
a budget for any.
No.
No,
I
the
think,
par-
I think there's
The
been a
parking commission
mistake
should do
here.
it.
I
Yeah.
think it should actually be the parking
Yes.
commission.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
agree.
that's why I'm saying, I agree. It shouldn't be the Board of Selectmen presenting to the Board of
Where
Finance.
did this
It should be the
budget,
the parking commission.
where does it fit in the budget today? Like if we were buying new parking meters, is that under
It's under-
DPW?
Oh, you mean, is it under general government?
Yeah.
It should be. I'd
Yeah,
have
that's
to
why the
pull
Board
it.
of Selectmen put the towers in her budget,
Put what towers?
the expenses for the boxes. Because she
Oh,
prepared.
She put it under Parking Commission.
But it's under general government, no?
It's under
No.
general government,
No,
yeah, it
it's-
was.
It was when they went through it at.
Well, general government lists about
Yeah, yeah.
5 or 6.
So-
other
Yeah,
things.
but that's where
Can
I
ask you guys
looked
something,
and
because
it
I'm
wasn't
not
there.
familiar with this? When they did that on Elm Street, did the parking commission have anything to do with that?
No,
So
no.
what was the process that the town went
I
through?
think
I
they
think
did.
they
I think they
did.
did go back
No.
and get
I-
some advice.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think
so-
what the parking commission sort
They
of
weren't
intimated
involved.
to us was that they were involved, or
Mm.
it was explained to them, it was
Mhm.
presented to them, but they would have liked to have been involved at an earlier
From the front
stage.
end.
That's right.
That's the sense
And
I
did they
got.
also get involved with the restaurants and the parking for that, or is that, how did that work?
I mean, under the existing
Yeah, so, like,
situation?
There
No.
were spaces for parking for restaurants and now there's not
Oh,
for the
right.
summer. Like, is that also parking commission? I'm just trying to understand
That was, you mean outdoor seating?
outdoor seating.
That
Yeah,
goes
no,
to
they're not
police
part- they're
commission.
not
That
part of
goes to
that.
police
Parking commission
commission,
doesn't,
yeah.
it doesn't vote on
That's not a
outdoor
parking
seating.
commission thing. even
No,
though-
it's off-street parking facilities that are owned by the town, which is the
Yes.
purview of the parking commission.
Yeah.
All right, so on Elm Street, for example, the restaurants in the summer had access to the off-street parking for the last 3 or 4 years on Elm Street, and now they don't.
Correct.
Is that parking commission? I'm just trying to understand whose purview that is and how that
Which?
happened.
I don't think that statement is correct.
No,
Say
no,
that
no, no,
again.
no,
I'm
they
asking,
did. They, for a while, they used parking spaces.
They
where
did every year.
Put up a plastic,
I'm sorry.
plastic
Forgive me. Yeah,
bumpers,
yeah, yeah,
so,
yeah.
you know, you can't go run down
So
somebody
I'm
eating.
just trying to understand who,
Combination
That's
of a
on
lot
street,
of
that's the
people.
police commission.
So
And,
it's
and the
on street.
Board of Selectmen.
Yeah.
it's a board of,
Those two.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand whose
The-
decision
yeah,
that
the
is.
parking
Yeah.
commission does not do on-street parking, it's off-street parking.
Yeah,
Okay, like the
Yeah,
parking
That's the
lots.
difference. Yes.
yeah.
Right.
And
Okay, so
Public Works
who has
got
control
involved
of
in that.
on-street parking? The police commission or the first selectman or both?
Both.
Okay,
On-street meaning the regular ones with the meters downtown?
yes.
Well, that should have been the Parking Commission and it should.
But time out right now,
Police,
to Todd's question,
Thank you. You understand what I'm saying?
the Board of Selectmen this year, to your point, so
Mhm.
no longer using parking
Yeah.
spaces with the bump outs,
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
movable plastics. That was voted on by the Board of Selectmen
Mhm.
to no longer renew that program.
Is that something that should be their decision? I'm just,
I get it, what you're saying. Should that be the
or is that
parking-
something that should be a parking commission
No, I
decision?
mean, that would be a
It's on
huge
street.
decision. That would be a huge decision to give the parking commission any kind of responsibility for on-street parking. I mean, as others have said.
Again, I'm
it's
just asking, I don't
currently-
know the answer.
The answer is no.
Okay.
Parking commission, only
Understood.
off-street parking.
Got it.
I would like to make a motion for,
Well, what are we doing about this paragraph before?
Yeah,
well,
we
we-
that's, oh, okay.
I mean, are we,
So
let's
basically,
edit it if
I
we're not
think-
gonna.
I think we should keep the paragraph as is, except for, instead of saying the Board of Selectmen in the first sentence, it says the Parking Commission shall prepare annually an itemized estimate of expenses.
I don't think
I don't
they do
think so.
that.
I mean, in every other
They
department that
don't
has
do that.
expenses, it's a town employee that does it.
Okay.
That's,
the Parking Bureau,
that's the,
Parking
Yeah.
Department.
that is Kevin,
Yeah,
who's the new head
That's
of
right.
parking.
Right.
That's his responsibility. And it's just, let's just get back to us on this? Who prepares the,
Well, he
budget?
would, but what are we calling him?
he has a title,
I know he does. I'm
He's
thinking, what,
manager of the parking
parking
department.
manager.
is that it?
We'll get
Well,
that.
then perhaps parking manager.
Guys,
is
I'm
the
not trying to
right
be,
word.
so are we talking about South Street parking lot and the parking lot, the big parking lots? Is that what we're talking about? Is that off street? I'm just not understanding this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
just the big parking lot.
It park,
Any
like Park
parking lot,
Street,
big,
North
small,
Street, North
Big,
Court.
so another one would potentially, and this is where I
The
think,
train station,
well, I was going to the lumber yard.
lumberyard, that's, yeah.
And so I think where we probably need to maybe
Lumberyard, yes.
add some language is, and this was what I asked Maria, I thought it was Maria Naughton. If, for instance, we were to take the lumberyard and build on top of it, for example, shouldn't the parking commission approve that? Because that's their domain, right? So we need to maybe,
Where does that go?
well, that would need to, I need to go somewhere in here, I'm not sure
Yeah.
where.
Yeah.
But those parking lots are becoming more and more interesting, let's just say.
Well, it's contentious for a number of reasons. Everybody's assuming low-income housing is going to be built. They're worried about commuter parking. They're worried about downtown parking. They're worried about having access to run in and do an errand without getting a ticket. The one good thing about Greenwich, and I'll be the first to admit it, if you're a half an hour late getting back to your car on Greenwich Avenue, you do not have a ticket. It's rare. Over a half an hour, they
Okay,
give you
guys,
time.
Guys,
So
let's come back to the
this
charter
worth
here. Yeah. okay.
considering.
Yeah. So I think if they follow these powers and duties,
Yeah.
and there was a provision to make some changes to the lumberyard parking
Mhm.
with building and whomever.
That's right.
This language would cover them. They
Where?
would be under the parking commission they have the power and the duty.
I'm reading these.
I would say it would include section 1, because it's off-street parking facilities owned and controlled by the town.
Yeah, but those are policy rules and procedures.
That's one.
That's not, has anything to do with use.
But all they can do is recommend,
Rules.
right?
All they do is recommend.
Yeah, that's
So at
right.
the end of the day,
rule is
they
not
can
a
recommend
use.
something, and the selectmen can do whatever they want.
Correct.
Okay,
That's correct.
But they're not.
Kathleen, we heard last
they're
week,
not-
that parking was a land use issue. And how is that because I hadn't thought about it that way, but I think it must be true, right?
It
And
is.
so how is that embodied in what you're reading there?
Well, that's another.
I think there needs to be inclusion into number 2, because a rule is not a use. A rule is a rule. I think we need to maybe put a sentence as recommend to the Board of Selectmen, because they do discuss the acquisition of land and other property necessary for or incidental to the establishment, maintenance and operation of public off-street parking. So maybe we want to put in there a term like use.
Yeah, the
Well,
acquisition,
Bill, to your
transfer.
question, we're
transfer or
reading
use.
from section 2 under 13-5, which addresses land.
Recommend to the Board of Selectmen. Land, use. So maybe put in
And
acquisition of
3.
land, use.
Acquisition, use, or transfer.
Which paragraph number is this?
Well,
13-5, powers and
Yeah,
duties.
two, okay,
two seems
I
a
see.
natural home.
Yep.
it's right here.
I don't, yeah.
That's right.
I do think, Judy, I had a question for you. Where were we putting we were putting that in Park and Rec?
No, the Park and Rec only covers parkland. So that's what my point. We have to put this somewhere that covers purchase of and or sale of
Or transfer?
or transfer of any other public building or property. So it's one thing to speak, which we did in ours and that, by the way, they didn't like that on the hearing. Town council didn't agree with that.
That was under the
Yeah.
3 million.
Yeah, they do.
Under
Well, I
parks,
don't care about the
specific to
3
parks.
million. I said that before. If you want to come up with 500,000, I'm fine with that.
Just a number.
As long as it's the process and it,
Yeah.
Jen, to your point,
approved.
you're concerned that number 2 doesn't cover reallocating a parking lot
Yeah.
to some other purpose.
Well, I think rules are slightly different to the point that was made than use. I think use is becoming even more important. So,
Yeah, it is.
in this town, land is getting, we're really crunching in.
Where are you
here.
saying they're gonna?
Recommended the
put
board of
this?
selectmen the acquisition of land, but this is I need to think about how to craft a language.
I think it needs to be a separate little sub-paragraph, because what we're talking about is the parking commission having an advisory role in the decision that might be made to dispose of off-street public parking. In the case of, you were saying,
I don't think you're disposing of it. What you would be doing
well,
is,
it would be using it for something else.
well, you would be adding additional uses to it, which potentially would then impact the use of parking.
You know what the problem though is, if you're gonna actually develop, we'll say the lumberyard, you're talking about millions of dollars in just studies. They don't have the ability to do this.
That's
I mean,
right.
if somebody's gonna do this, the first selectman's gonna take it on, they're gonna get studies done, it's a massive project.
I think it sort of belongs in its own section.
Bill?
I just.
And I
Bill,
think,
you
I
had a
think
comment?
Jen maybe.
Hold on a second,
sorry.
Bill, go ahead. Bill, you had a comment?
No, I was just gonna say, I thought Angela's point was going in the right direction. I just, and really picking up on Todd's point, who is it? I mean, what we really want to do is make sure that not one single person in town decides to give away land or acquire land, right? And that there's some checks and balances, and that makes sense. And one of the problems you have in the town right now is there are, at least my personal opinion, there are a lot of people who have their sights on, moving assets from one place to another, and then using parking or other land we might have. Some of it's affordable housing, some of it's other services we have in town, maybe EMS, maybe the fire, others. And so the right level people just need to be involved in that. And if the direction Todd was going in, if there are 4 or 5 groups, if it's planning and zoning, if it's the first selectman, that should be codified. This is a big issue. And I think, as someone said, becoming a bigger and bigger issue. This is not going away. This is going to absorb us. And wait until you get the new standard.
I agree with
The new
everything.
standard of affordable housing in town.
Yeah.
Like Karen, and then Jen.
I was just saying that the problem, I think, with squeezing it into this parking commission section is that this all talks about the parking commission recommending to the Board of Selectmen. And actually what we're concerned about is that the Board of Selectmen consult with the relevant boards and commissions before they do other things. And so I wonder if it fits better. I mean, you might be able to add that wording here, but I wonder if it fits better under the selectmen.
But I think it needs to be all town property. It's not just a parking lot.
That's what.
I mean, I think
This is
it
just the
needs,
parking piece.
I know, but I
Yeah.
don't know if that's where it
Well, I think
belongs,
the
because it could be
the big-
encapsulated in
The
a.
debate is, do
This
we
could
put
be.
them in each section, or do we
Well,
put
that's
this in
another thought.
miscellaneous?
Yeah, that's a
Correct.
thought.
To which you extend then a very wide branch of what you need to do, but there's a plus positive and negative to that. What the beauty of this is that it articulates a process, right? Which is, you have to have this person, you have to consult with that one. The problem was, we were going to have to articulate a better process, because you can't just say requires approval of any transfer. So who's approving? How are they approving? How many people are approving? The beauty of what slightly is here, which is nice, is that you do have a body that has to give that approval.
Recommendation.
Right.
Recommendation.
Or recommendation.
Joe?
I was going to define it in terms of parking spaces, to say if you're removing parking spaces, which is really what parking commission controls, that they have to have the ability to study it and make a recommendation, as opposed to the actual property. Because when we take, I don't know how many spaces are in the lumberyard, I'm going to say 100, 200. That's a lot of spaces that you're taking out of.
I think it's 240 spaces.
And
How
then you
many?
have to-
240, I think.
I was gonna say
240
it's over
spaces.
200, yeah.
And where do you recapture them?
Well, I do think that the section
They're
2.
going to recapture, they're going to recapture them right there. But that's why it becomes a multifaceted question. If it's more than probably 200, but if they're going to use the spaces for affordable housing, they're gonna build a parking garage to replace all of that. And so I think Karen is in the right direction. I think, and maybe Jen a little bit, defining a process for things of this nature. And I don't like, I don't like consulting, because consulting, I had all of the agencies and commissions provide a report which is codified for the town, to the first selectman and to whomever. We can all read those reports at that point in time. You really want to get everybody on board that it makes sense for the town. And what part of the problem is, Judy, I don't know, maybe we need a long-term plan. I mean, the firehouse.
That's true, Bill.
Russ is on the phone with the firehouse. At some point, it's going to become, you're not going to get the fire engines in there anymore. I'm assuming it.
Okay, I'm coming
We've
back to the
corrected
parking
that,
commission.
actually, so hopefully it'll stay.
Right,
but-
so I'm coming back to the parking commission. I think the language here, which is at two sections, section 2, where they are recommending the acquisition of land and other property necessary for incidental to the establishment, maintenance, and operation of public off-street parking. So the lumberyard is addressed under section 2. The language that exists there, that is something that addresses that. And then section 6, which is that the parking commission prepares and submits to the Board of Selectmen and to the Planning and Zoning Commission plans for the provision of public off-street parking facilities. Now, so if there's going to be a change or a plan to change public off-street parking facilities such as the lumberyard, that section 6 is where they have to prepare and submit a report.
But that's not something that the parking commission is prepared and trained.
I know.
to do.
Well, that I know.
And so
I agree.
So even if it comes from here, it's got to go somewhere else that incorporates
Well,
any other property
Yeah,
that the town owns that they may decide to do something with. I mean, Lord, everybody was like,
But Judy, listen to me. Sorry.
next to the high school.
Do we address these in different articles?
I don't know. That's my point.
Right,
I thought
because
that
we
was
have
a
a
good
park
idea.
too.
Yeah,
We have
that's a good
parking
idea.
lots. Right?
Well, we've already done 2.
Well, I would like,
Now we
just
have
like
to
to
do
say that
plain land.
we cannot legislate in the charter that appointed bodies or elected bodies,
Should
for
do a
that
better
matter, do
That's
what
right.
they're supposed
That's
to
right.
do according to the charter or even the general statutes. That we cannot legislate for. I think Kathleen is right. If the parking commission wants to, it can insert itself into the discussion about, well, you're getting rid of a lot of parking spaces because of what you want to convert the lumber yard into. We have ideas, we have thoughts. They can do it. The problem
This
is,
language permits it.
it does. And I think that there has to be some thought given to how we get all our appointed bodies up to speed on what they should be doing.
I would just insert in section 2, recommend to the board the acquisition of land, use, and other property. Just put one,
Okay.
I think that's a good idea. By the way,
because use, because we could still have 270 parking spots there,
Done.
but now on
Okay.
top of it, there'll be
That's
housing.
right.
Okay.
That's all right.
All
I'm
right.
okay with that.
We have 15
But then we're
minutes.
back, well, we'll get there.
No, we're good.
The manager, what are we doing here about the annual appropriations?
I'm going to ask the parking manager.
Okay,
how
how
what
he wants
happens
to
here.
do it, yeah.
it definitely can't come the way it is now. It's definitely has to.
No,
the
it's-
park-
it's
Board of
not
Selectmen,
right
it's
now.
Incorrect.
All right.
Okay, so we have 15 minutes.
What do you want to do?
I'm
for
going to sign off,
conservation
Kathleen.
or your-
We have a vote. I have to sign off unless you want a quick vote on something.
We need a quick vote on
I
anything?
don't think we're voting on
No,
it.
we're good. We're good. Thank you, Bill.
Okay.
And we won't see you tomorrow, correct?
No, yeah, I'll be, the meeting starts at 4.
Yeah.
I'll be en route to 4 o'clock, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be en route to Newark Airport starting at about 3:30, so I can, work through the airport, so to speak. Just maybe if there's a particular time you want me on, or if you don't want me on, just let me know. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We'll hear
We'll
from you
need
at
you.
4. Okay.
It's
We'll
too
need you.
smart to leave that question hanging.
Yeah, right.
Bye.
All right. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it. Okay, why don't we just?
As you do that, I just want to add some thought to something that I think maybe Joe said it. At some point, I think we could have a separate provision dealing with the purchase acquisition of any property in the town.
That's what I, that's,
Yeah.
because I'm
It doesn't-
sitting here thinking, God
It doesn't have to
forbid.
be in any one, it could just be a catch-all for
Yes.
anything,
Yeah.
parks.
Well, I agree with you. I think that has to be.
It has
to
but-
go
but the
somewhere.
problem becomes in the mechanics.
Yeah.
Who does it belong
Who-
to? I
who's
don't know.
approving?
I think it's a town council.
Town
I
council.
think it should
Right.
be town council.
For sure.
So what happens is
so
if
we need to
if the first selectman or the selectman want to do something, they have to get approval from town council.
I think that exists.
Well,
And if they do. I
they
mean, it's
do,
it's
they do,
called out
but
in the
if you
park
want, if, i.e., because
section,
it's
I'm trying
not
to figure out if
income.
it's in the
It's,
first select.
well, it's not an appropriation. In other words, if you wanted to sell, or you, which is not in here anywhere, if you wanted to sell the fields next to the high school
Mhm.
for something, as we almost had, that's not income. It could be, but it's not the sale of and or the purchase of.
Sale,
That needs to be,
transfer.
or
we could change the
transfer, you're
language.
right, it could be definitely
Yeah.
transfer.
But we have to do
Where-
something at the
This
end.
is where it goes, somewhere.
Yep.
And
I think
maybe it goes under
the
town council. I,
think
you
so.
know,
I think so.
That's where.
they don't,
ultimately.
they don't have as much authority as they could. They need to, you know, pull, they've got more authority than they're using. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
They
Let's
do.
go to Conservation Commission, page
Legally.
29.
This is the easy one, right?
I hope so.
supposedly.
We think they're all easy and then they become rather difficult. Article 11, Conservation Commission, and over to you.
So we didn't vote on this, right?
No.
So,
We
We voted to
no, we
keep
voted
everything the
before.
same,
Oh, that's right,
yeah,
okay.
except for
sorry.
we have that
Yeah.
next section.
We did.
And then we start talking about other things, that's right.
Yeah. All right, Conservation Commission, Jen.
so we received, edits from the Conservation Commission. After analysis of those edits,
What
finally,
page are you on, Jim?
29.
We didn't put the edits into the chart.
Oh, you
No, we didn't put the
Okay,
edits.
all right.
Just separate.
All right. So it was a separate document. A lot of them were also covered in the ordinances and expanded off of the ordinances. So if you looked at the additional language that was being asked for, you'd need to have the ordinance in the charter for then that additional language to be part of the whole concept, right? So they prepare an annual report, is in the ordinances, but then they wanted to add more language to what is covered in the annual report. So the recommendation that I've made to them is that they maintain the ordinances as is. We only change this to 3 years, and that we will put in the recommendation or that catch-all bucket, what was it, 9, I think it is, something or another, that there needs to be updates to the ordinances from these commissions, including, and we can give examples of what conservation would want. Yep.
Is that what they're comfortable with?
I don't think it's wise putting all the ordinances
No.
that exists today. So what I'm trying to say, Judy, is if you wanted to do what they wanted to do,
Okay.
you'd have to put the ordinances into the charter
Oh.
and then add the language on top of the ordinances that they wanted to append to the ordinances.
Good Lord.
So don't they just need to go back to town council to amend the existing ordinance?
Yes.
Isn't that the way to do it?
And we're
That's
saying-
the
Is
recommendation that we're going to
that's
make.
what I think it should happen.
Yeah,
And that's what we've discovered with EMS, well, your
Well,
group did.
yeah, because we didn't know whether we should add all that. And
Historical
we thought that
review,
really should be an
historical district,
ordinance.
Yeah.
Historical
Then,
district is not
In
because of
reviewing
that. it's
the
because they
document
didn't
you
have an
sent,
ordinance in
the
place
changes to the commission,
To combine
there-
the bodies.
I mean, to the
I
Conservation
talked to him
Commission,
today, by the
because I haven't
way.
had a chance to read it. Is it the green and blue text, does that signify anything?
yeah, so
Okay. Just so when I
blue
read it.
is an ordinance
Got it, okay.
and green is basically an append to an ordinance to add more.
I see, okay,
This
Yeah.
was in your memo. that-
Yeah.
okay.
I'm sorry, when did you send that memo, Jen?
I sent it today.
Oh, was
so-
it posted?
You
And then
mean
maybe
to
not
us?
yet. I'll
I
have
just
it
was looking
posted.
from her email.
I don't see mine, but I could, maybe.
No, I didn't see it either.
Okay, so simply what we're proposing here then instead is to just change 2 to 3. Yep.
Yeah, Karen. could you
Okay.
forward it to me? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, that's Article 11. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, Jen.
After all that.
Boy, I was so happy.
Do we need a
to see
motion on that?
Nope.
Okay?
What happened to their report?
Is everybody,
on land
is
use
anybody
that they're
opposed to,
doing?
Nope.
Article 11?
That's in the ordinance?
Okay, so is there another one we can knock off, as we're wrapping up here, the last 9 minutes? Health and Human Services, how about that? Article 9. Over to you, Karen.
Hang on one second. Oh, too far ahead.
Page 28.
Thank you. So not a lot changed here. I think the gist of the conversation when we spoke with them was really just to clean up the language, to modernize some of that language. So that's what you see in D9-3. I don't know who highlighted that. Sorry, going back up a little bit with
I did.
Yeah.
So this is, I was going to ask legal for this. The language that says, and appears in a lot of the commissions, it says, after the 1st of December each year, the commission shall meet at the call of the first selectman, okay, to choose one of its members to be chairman and one of its members to be secretary. It's just never clear to me when when the first selectman is calling the meeting, it looks like the first selectman is choosing one of the members to be chairman and one of the members to be secretary, but it's really the commission itself. And I'm just wanting to make sure that's clear because.
So why don't you just put it after the word first selectman to have the commission choose one of its members?
Yeah, I think that would have to be,
I think that's the language.
yeah, because I think in some cases,
I agree with you.
has the first selectman picked the chair?
No,
No.
Okay.
no,
So-
only informally.
Yeah, you're right. Who's going to do it kind of conversation? Yeah. Well,
no, different, behind closed doors.
Yeah.
The first selectman decide.
Okay,
So you're
but
right.
I just want to make sure the language
It never
is,
was like that before.
okay, the commission shall meet at the call of the first selectman. And then we'll just say,
To have the
Have the
commission,
commission choose one of its members to be chairman
okay.
and one, yeah.
okay, and I'll just make sure that's consistent throughout.
Someone in need? That's an odd phrase.
What?
I think I'm reading Don onward.
Okay, go ahead, Karen. I'm sorry, I interrupted there.
Okay, so the language below is just instead of needy persons, individuals in need, and addresses the confidential, can be kept confidential. So instead of domestic, financial, other private affairs,
Yeah.
vague,
Yeah,
personal, financial, domestic circumstances.
good.
Doesn't the
Um,
state statute have a,
We
PA?
we got that from, didn't we get that from?
We got
Yeah.
that from the Health and Human
Yeah.
Services Commissioners.
Yeah.
Worked on that, just cleaning up that language. And
That's
then,
what he sent us, yeah.
and then that stuff did not come from the state statutes, I think was what you're asking, Jen.
But weren't they going to extract from that? Maybe they didn't, okay, but that was what he sent us, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's
what I
just sort of
thought,
an
yeah.
introductory.
None
Yeah,
of
no.
this is
section.
health information.
No, that's
right?
good.
Right.
Okay.
Well, it could be health information, like, I mean, when your personal information. I think
No,
it could-
that's not what's considered health information. That's covered at HIPAA.
Yeah,
You're right.
that's exactly.
And then
what I was
personal
gonna
is
say.
HIPAA is-
currently what we call
HIPAA is
We're
not
PII.
gonna
not
be-
crossing a HIPAA line.
Yes, we're not crossing any HIPAA lines.
Okay, thank you.
Powers and duties, so just to be clear, this was just added to the charter, I believe, 10 years ago, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so the whole thing was just added to the charter. So,
Yes.
and it just said that first paragraph, basically what, that first black part was the only thing that said. Actually, let me just read this from the original. I'm sorry, it started from the second paragraph down there. Yeah, this seems to have gotten a little mixed up. Let me just make sure that we don't have anything deleted. No. So what I propose, or what we propose, is adding that red section. And I think that actually we could delete the bottom section, because I think it's covered in all of the above section. Where we had that, or the United States Code.
Yeah. That's just, you don't need that paragraph.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, any comments or corrections on that?
No, I think that's,
I
fine.
would like to, having dealt with a lot of personal data and information issues, maybe we ought to add, because personal information is redefined all the time. It's a moving target. I'm a little uncomfortable with regarding their personal, financial, or domestic, any confidential information as defined by the state statutes.
That's a good idea.
Confidential information, what?
As defined by the state.
Yeah,
statute.
That's a good idea.
And not-
Yeah, it
Because
doesn't
like
hurt.
this is
It
an
doesn't
evolving
hurt.
target, and I can
Yep.
tell
Where is
you.
that?
It sure is.
Where do we put that?
No, I lost my point.
That's in 9-3.
Yeah.
So, yeah, where I have the names of
Yeah.
individuals in need
Information,
and any
yeah.
confidential information as defined by state statute.
And I don't think we should call them in need. Needy person.
However, you know what, you're right, Jen. Provided that it doesn't have to just be people and individuals in need, it's anyone.
Right.
that's
Anybody,
before- yeah.
Anyone.
Provided that any confidential information, as defined by state statutes.
Right.
Got it.
I don't think you need in need there either, or obviously needy persons went out too.
Agreed.
And then I have just a very small punctuation issue that's under section 9-4, the red line, the red addition, second line. I think after town, there should be a comma before you say as well as the services.
What is comma as well as the service?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Karen, I'm just gonna ask you to shoot me back.
Yeah, I will.
The final version.
Yeah.
And then,
But I think FOIA does allow you to, what I know about FOIA, which is pretty broad, extensive. I think you shall not be a public record. FOIA only exempts certain things. So my favorite FOIA is you could never get test answers.
and HIPAA, I think HIPAA is.
Yeah,
HIPAA.
I
But
would.
let me, my thought on this, which is why I think the language is state statutes probably enough, is the domestic violence. Because that has grown to 2,020 years of reported cases in this town, which I started and didn't think it would become quite that big. And that
But we could
is,
just put it as
not
unless other-
a needy issue. That is a anybody issue.
But we could just put as unless otherwise precluded by law,
By
Yeah, why do we
by
need?
FOIA.
But
Or law,
I'm saying,
FOIA
I'm
is law.
responding
Yeah.
here, and the votes of the members of the commission on a specific determination shall not be a public record.
It is a public record.
Says shall be a public.
So it says shall.
Shall.
It says shall not be a public record.
It has to be public
What's
record.
And the votes of the members of the commission on specific determinations shall not be a public record. That's what
Go
I'm,
down below.
Yeah.
It says it shall up above.
I think you're right, Jen, because I think that if you go up to the first part of that sentence, it's the generic, you have to file everything in office according to the Freedom of Information Act, including the votes taken. And this sentence really was an attempt to say, except for don't, it's not really about the vote. They were trying to append on that they can go into private discussions. And I wonder if this is really an executive session issue. Like when can they go out of their public meeting to discuss things?
Well, this is handled internally in the department. I'm not so sure that would be handled in a commission meeting. I don't know that they would discuss that in a commission meeting. I'm not real
I
sure.
should read this better. I'm sorry, and I
I don't
apologize.
know.
This is the first time
I'm
I'm
not
reading.
sure.
Well, it says needy persons back in the day, so they did probably address it.
Yeah, but they
at the
didn't
full
have
commission.
domestic violence 20 years ago.
Right. but-
Until 20 years ago.
Yeah, understood.
So
But it was at the
that is
commission.
definitely a rich person's problem. It's not a
No,
poverty.
It isn't.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's gotten
It's everybody.
huge.
It's everybody.
everybody.
It's everybody.
But that's my point. It's not a needy person's.
Is this, can we just, so we're just talking about FOIA and things like that. I think it's already covered. They would do it in executive session. And if it's something that's covered by HIPAA, state statute covers it anyway. So why does it need to be in the charter? I guess is my question.
I'm not sure it does. That's what I was saying. I
I
don't
think it
know
might be-
that they ever have to.
I think it might be better to leave it out in case we get something a little bit wrong. And just to refer to all actions and activities being in accordance with state law.
What I'm responding now is the second point is the votes of the members of the commission on specific determination shall not be a public record.
Did he add that to the comments he
think I-
sent us? I'm trying to
Jen, I see where
remember.
you're going with that. And
Yeah.
I think what that was trying to say in the original version, it's not really that they were specifically trying to keep the votes out of the public record. They were trying to keep the whole
Persons.
discussion of granting or not granting welfare out of the public discussion, out of the public minute. And it just, the way that it got worded was about the votes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's right. I
Probably
don't-
needs a
yeah,
cleanup.
So,
It just needs,
okay. So
Tomorrow,
tomorrow,
we're gonna get another easy.
no,
We try.
none of them are.
Yeah,
So-
I think we know where to go with this. Well,
Okay,
I'll do an
yep.
edit for this.
So we're gonna have a new version, draft 11, in front of everybody tomorrow. We actually did tackle, thank you to everybody, because we did tackle a lot. The outstanding ones tomorrow that we still yet to need to do is Fire Commission, Inland Wetlands, Parks and Rec,
mhm.
town employees, the Ethics Board, the Police Commission, Planning and Zoning, Public Works
Good Lord.
Department, the town attorney.
Well,
I'd
we've
love to see
still-
what you need. I did talk to him about that.
He didn't send anything yet.
I talked to him today about that. Town treasurer, zoning board of appeals, and miscellaneous.
Are we still
favorite.
waiting for the town attorney to give us a town
Yes,
attorney?
So I asked him about that today.
3 times.
I asked them about that today. That language was just literally lifted out of the Westport.
Yeah, that's what he
on town-
said.
On town
Yeah,
attorney.
he said.
Well,
that was there.
okay, it's terrible. What do you suggest
I have to take a
instead?
look at it. I thought they were gonna send something new.
Well,
but-
it basically,
I
what
mean,
they're
I
gonna
looked at
send is what.
it's not
they
just
have her-
Westport, almost every town looks exactly.
Okay, I'm
the
gonna,
same.
let me take a look at it then.
You,
But
you
just
want
put-
to expand it to
What is,
include.
like, he doesn't know what to write if he doesn't know what's wrong with it. So you
Well,
gotta
it
tell him
doesn't-
what's wrong with
Okay.
it.
Well, I did.
I'll-
I said it doesn't include alternate attorneys for specialty.
Okay, give
I'll-
him a
me-
sentence.
I'll take a look at it.
Just
tonight.
get, it's a sentence,
I got it.
I think.
Yes, got it.
Okay.
Well, that's an awful lot for us to get through tomorrow.
Can I just add, can I
Kathleen?
add another thought to the?
Sorry.
To the sale or purchase or, of
Yes, it is.
public land and any of these other components. We have to put something in that allows it to go to referendum. And it doesn't unless there is an appropriation. As it stands now, there's an appropriation. So you don't get the public to weigh in. And that's what I thought was missing when they were looking at this, idea of where to put the police
So Judy, do
station.
you think that belongs in town council?
No, I think, well, wherever it belongs in charter for sure.
I don't know. I think it's a town council thing for
But
me.
town
But
council
did
is
we
my
approve
best
town
guess.
council?
I don't know if we did.
That's okay. can just
We
go back
did,
to
but
that.
I
I
have
think
to
it
do it.
belongs in town council.
You do, right? Yeah.
But there has to be something in there that frames this in a way that the public has the final decision.
You want to work on wording together?
Well, yeah, sure, absolutely.
But it can't be, and it would have to be an awfully big thing to send it back to, it could be like $2 million.
No, but I don't know if
We
that,
adjourn?
I don't know if that.
Yeah,
He's
so-
about to move.
Yeah.
Okay, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
All right, so we just did
All right, tomorrow, 4 o'clock. Yep.
Next Monday,
4:00.
because now I think my plan for next Monday. 'cause
Monday's
we're
for, yeah. I can't
Gonna
remember.
go down to Florida next Monday